Captain, if you would present us with a log, please.
Sure. I will give you a totally spontaneous log. Captain's log, stardate 60186.5. After departing the Avlex system at maximum warp, I have convened a meeting of the senior staff. I have to inform them about the critical priority 1 rescue mission that lies ahead. Additionally, I will be providing them with details regarding the arrival of and mission of the junior council member, advisor dispatched by the Federation Council. Despite having approximately 4 days until our arrival at the mission destination, it is of utmost importance that the senior staff is well informed, not only about the mission itself, but also about our new Chief of Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Ninota. Furthermore, it is crucial to address the grave warning brought forth by our new Federation Council observer. Captain's log, stardate 60186.5 supplemental. In addition to our ongoing mission and the arrival of the Federation Council advisor, an unforeseen development has occurred. The enigmatic artifact recovered from the anomaly that devastated Avlet Prime has unexpectedly taken Lieutenant Rylov, my chief of security. As a precautionary measure, the artifact has been safely stored in a secure area on the lower decks of the ship. The loss of Lieutenant Rylov is deeply troubling, and it is imperative that we address this situation promptly. Our priority is to determine the nature and purpose of the artifact, as well as any potential connection it may have to Lieutenant Rylov's disappearance. We must explore every possible avenue to ascertain if there is a way to retrieve him or if he is irretrievably lost. I will assemble a task force consisting of the ship's senior officers, including the Chief Science Officer, Chief Engineer, and Chief Medical Officer, to analyse the artifact and hopefully develop a plan of action. Our immediate concern is the safe retrieval of the Lieutenant, and we will utilise every resource to achieve this goal. End log.
This is a 3-threat game. To the briefing room we go.
Have we managed to get the orb off of the transporter pad and somewhere safe and secure on board?
Yeah, it's in one of the secure workshops aboard ship in the lower decks.
Okay, I bet that was fun.
I also have like multiple guards stationed in that area and computer security. Like, I did that.
At the meeting, there is for security, unless I'm incorrect, I think the senior most security officer available is not an officer, but the senior chief petty officer of the boat.
Ensign Kasai.
Ensign Kasai? Did I miss that person entirely?
Yeah,
they're at the bottom. That's why.
Fourth.
There we go. There we go. Rearrange them. Never mind. Haha.
Suppose I better open the character sheets.
For science, Ensign Rymek is present, as Ensign Ven is currently still in the lab working, supervising its containment and adjusting in the moment for any fluctuations to keep it contained. But he can't really be here because he's busy. He has to be there on scene, constantly watching it.
Makes sense.
because the shields keep having to fluctuate all the damn time. So it's one of those. It's basically he's basically doing scientific method while this is happening, essentially, trying to get some head start on it.
So, as everyone can tell, we're kind of in a Shit's Creek situation, but we're going to have to deal with it. First and foremost, let's get the formalities out of the way. Lieutenant Ninota?
Sir.
Welcome to the ship. Would you like to give a brief introduction of yourself to the senior staff?
I'm Lieutenant Commander Ninurta. I'm your new chief engineer. I already deserve a raise, although the captain keeps telling me I won't get one. And I have to say, it was a hell of a first day.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander. And Councilperson Saleya, would you care to introduce yourself and your purpose aboard the ship?
Saleya stands up and says, I am Councilor Saleya. I represent the people of Paver in the Federation Council, but relevant to you, I'm here to observe the Achilles and advise Captain Pind on the needs of the council in the Shackleton. And Saleya will sit down.
Does any of the senior members of staff have any questions for any of our two new additions to the table?
I'll just shake my head.
PM, can I ask a lore question?
Certainly, sorry.
Through my experience and knowledge of Starfleet, I would like to think and wonder how common is it for this level of civilian oversight to be brought aboard a ship, and what that usually means for a ship.
Insight Command difficulty 2. I will tell you for free whether you get it or not. Due to difficulty of 2, it is not a super common thing.
That's why I'm worrying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Insight commands. This is a 15. Okay. Diff 2. I'm not going to have a focus, so why don't you just take 3 threat?
Certainly.
Gang 2 and squash.
Yeah, let's do that.
Usually, given that Celia is a junior council member, that does blunt the severity of it to some degree. Because the Vulcans have, as one of the founding species, have a lot of counselors for the various worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, if you're sending any counselor, even a junior counselor, it means that it is whatever the ship is doing or using is of immediate concern to the council that counselor's from. It depends what council Celia sits on, because there's the wider council, but the council has subcommittees that handle a variety of topics ranging from medicine to rights to the one most important to the Starfleet, the Federation Security Council, which is the council that looks directly at the Joint Chiefs of Starfleet, the admirals.
Right.
So either the Achilles itself is of a special concern, something aboard the Achilles is of a special concern, or the mission that they're currently on or about to be on is of immediate concern. To the point that they're skipping the whole chain of command. They don't want to hear this from they don't want to hear it through the admirals. They want to hear it from one of their counselors. which implies either a requirement of speed, of encryption, or of mistrust. Sometimes when a Starfleet vessel
Yeah.
or group is suspected of something, the council will say, well, fine, we'll just put one of ours there, who has no connection with any Starfleet personnel.
Sniff out the moles. Okay. I would like to sure. Asa will turn to Saleya, right? Yes, Saleya. And she'll say, why specifically did the council choose you to come to the ship? And why specifically is the council interested in the Achilles?
Mm. You should not think of the Security Council as a unified body. You should think of it as a few dozen counselors, each with their own agenda. One group within the whole would like to see the Achilles reassigned to patrol the core worlds because of your immense firepower and their lack of interest in this area. Some others might want to see the Achilles emboldened in a way that me and my colleagues believe would lead to unnecessary wars in the Shackleton. So I'm here to inform all of those groups what you're doing and to advise Captain Pend on how to please all of them.
Essentially, Commander, it seems like they've appointed the Achilles a babysitter.
I would like to refocus it more as you have direct access to the council. If you want to partner with the council, then the Achilles will have unrivaled access to resources as compared to other Starfleet vessels of a similar size. But if you want to work outside of the interests of the council, then the Achilles could be in a dangerous position.
Yeah, Asa is going to nod and is going to make like an old Bajoran saying about how, like, you know, along the lines of, like, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Um, she's going to say, like, we must use all of our happenstances to our advantage. I welcome you to come aboard.
Excuse me, counselor, says Ninurta. This faction that wants the Achilles to return to patrol the, and he uses two hands to make the air quotes, core worlds. What core are they talking about exactly?
You're not part of their core, if that's what you're asking.
Well, we're not part of the Federation as far as that goes. We have close ties and have for centuries, but to this point,
I think you misunderstood me, Commander. I did not say that Indosha was not in the core. I said you were not in the core. Myself, Captain Pend, Commander Thralic, Lieutenant Shashrir, we're in the core. Even Ensign Kasai's in the core. You are not in the core. Commander Az is not in the core. And I have not inquired enough to know whether Ensign Rymek is in the core. I gather you catch my drift.
Essentially, it's the xenophobe faction is making a lot of noise, and well, yeah, they're making a lot of noise.
Yes. That is what I was
I
getting
wouldn't say anything so bold about my colleagues, but I won't
at. And Ninurta, while this is going
correct
on,
you
is
either.
like, idly making repairs on the nanoresonating conversion unit. Just something that he can hold in a hand or two and work on while the meeting's
Isa,
taking place.
Isa doesn't say anything, but she definitely starts to starts imagining these counselors as like the same thing as Cardassians in her brain.
See, I like to imagine it as like the British House of Parliament, where you can't insult anyone, but it's like, my right honourable fellow. It's like, you dickhead.
Yeah, Celia can't
Yeah.
say any of that because she's like, I could get censored if I say what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't call anyone Dodgy Dave. You're right.
But yeah, so our job is just to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully, if that quietens a certain faction back home, I'm not going to be displeased, shall we say?
Ultimately, if you can maintain peace in the Shackleton, then the council will be pleased.
Well, I will keep that in mind going forward. But now that the pleasantries are all out of the way, our two current objectives. Yay! They all come at once. So we have the trying to recover council person Myth and Lieutenant Cham from a tactical cube before it reactivates or gets reinforced by other Borg.
I'm sorry, Captain. Did you say a tactical cube?
Yes, I said a Borg tactical cube.
Oh,
You should inquire about that raise again.
Oh, that's right, Ninurta. You owe me a fitness plus medicine roll, difficulty of 3. You're faced with the unending terror of a Starfleet officer having to face with the Borg. Most people don't react well to that news.
fitness medicine difficulty 3. You say?
Yep.
Goodness, that seems unlikely. Okay, yeah, I will give you a threat for the third die.
Would you like an assist
Well,
here?
Sure.
All right.
I mean, I'm not bad. It's 12, so.
Okay. I will assist you though, trying to aid with a little bit of humor potentially. And because I'm assisting you, you get a reroll for my advisor talent.
Yeah, Isa just takes a sip of her coffee and like scribbles into a pad. Oh no, or puts this in your file because
What did it get me again?
It's going to get you a reroll of
Okay.
1 die.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kat, you really need to get off the keyboard. Well, I didn't mean to roll 2 that second time, but you can take the first one, so it's a comp on a 1. Ow.
All right, and then GM, can I get a presence command assist here?
You certainly could.
Focus and guidance, and so we've got advisor and maximized efficiency. So currently you do have not yet. I'm going to use maximized efficiency to reroll that die. Okay.
That is 2, I believe, total.
Which is still 1 short.
Yeah, we're still 1 short here.
I mean, I could go ahead and burn a momentum. I have a value for it already. And do a reroll.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna spend my determination on the value. Weird stuff is just Tuesday for me.
Okay.
That's a very oddly specific day you chose there, bud.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Just random. Came right to my head. So okay, we've got 2 with a comp on the board, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 and a comp.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna re-roll. I'll just re-roll 1, or should I re-roll 2?
Go for the 2.
I rerolled the 2.
Yeah. All right.
We like being risky here.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. You also will generate a bonus momentum for my maximized efficiency because the task
Ooh.
succeeded and I succeeded.
Speaking of, Celia owes me a roll, but only a difficulty 2 due to even though Celia has a certain background, that background still steels your mind against this sort of scary event. Like it's one of those like this is, yeah. But Celia still has to brace herself for the reality of having to be on board a ship that will be within shooting distance of a Borg vessel.
All right, I'll give you momentum. You said it's fitness medicine.
Yep.
Focus in philosophy.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, that was an easy one for me.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Dang.
Hmm. Unlike other Vulcans, Leia does not fear fear itself, so I'll accept this.
You are now suffering from trauma 3 Borg. As there's that creeping sensation of it's one thing for me to hear about a nuclear weapon, and I've read a lot about them personally. If you told me, no, you're gonna be near one blowing up, I'm not gonna react terribly well to that information. Because the Borg are just that devastating, so. But yeah, no, so yeah, in Nerda you have that wave and you're able to like you've heard stories. You've probably served with people, you've lost people who may have encountered the Borg. Maybe heard stories of people being assimilated. You know, they're not fun stories. Not one of them. Once in a blue moon story. Most of the time, it's terrifying. And Celia, well, you're positioned on the council, although you are a lot more removed from the situation normally. Unfortunately, you are widely briefed on the some of the stuff that even Starfleet doesn't really get to hear about. Or at least the Starfleet as a whole. It's like, it's a lot worse than you think it is, guys. Apparently, Vulcan's almost been simulated on 2 different occasions because of time travel.
Yeah, there's this whole province we don't talk about. We've scrubbed from the records because it's been Borgified.
Oh.
No one's allowed to know.
Yeah, so that's job 1. Lieutenant Commander Nanota. I'll be giving you some specs of some of the unique parts of the Achilles. Go over them, make sure you're up to date with it.
Nerda kind of gives Pend a look and goes, "Aye, sir."
I'll give you the pad or the tour if you wish after the briefing. But that's something as chief engineer you're gonna have to have knowledge of. So apart from the Borg, we also have. I'm going to require assistance from Count Aza here. A orb of the prophets or Parwraiths that's corrupted and teleported our chief of security to the center of the galaxy. Am I mistaken in that statement somehow?
Everything seems correct, sir.
Really? That's correct. That's a correct statement I've just made.
Well, okay, not necessarily, because while the wormhole appeared to be opening toward the center of the galaxy, where Lieutenant Rylov may have been left could have been anywhere along that route, theoretically.
Yeah, Asa like sighs and says, I much preferred my religion when it was a theoretical, and I was not interacting with these things on a daily basis. But yes, Captain, as best we can tell, the orb of prophecy, or sorry, the orb of reality has grabbed Lieutenant Rylov and deposited him somewhere. His condition, living or not, in this dimension or not, cannot be ascertained at this time, maybe ever.
Ah. So, raise your hands if you've dealt with multiple realities and 10th dimensional beings before. Penn raises his hand.
Hand goes up.
Rymek does. I believe Kasai does not.
Asa
No.
does, yeah. I think Kasai was made after.
Sure
does.
would.
Yeah. The fact that there's 5 people in this room that have just raised their hand is horrifying. Right.
Nerda shakes his head and goes, gods of fire and death.
Yeah, you want a raise? Until I get a raise, no one's getting one. But from reports from Con, we've got about 4 days until we reach our destination of the cube. So, for the next 3 days, I want everything we can into understanding this orb and trying to recover the lieutenant. But safely. Let's not go stupid and cause more damage than we need to both us, the orb, or the surrounding areas. Okay?
Understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
For the final day, if he's not back, we'll have to postpone that operation and spend the last day preparing for anti-Borg tactics. I don't want to, and this isn't me giving up on the lieutenant, but I have to prioritise resources for 2 missions, and unfortunately, I can't prioritise everyone to one thing constantly. Does anyone have any disagreements about that?
Your plan is in line with what the council's desires.
Well, your wish is my command. But if anyone has any concerns with that plan, please speak up. For now, I'm trying to make the best of these 2 dangerous and conflicting things we have to work with.
Well,
I'll
sir,
note
it occurs to me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. It occurs to me, sir, that our security forces might not be incredibly useful in what appears to be a fairly scientific mission in retrieving Lieutenant Rylov. If we could start preparations in parallel for the tactical side of the engagement with the Borg Cube, if it comes to that, that would be appreciated.
Understood. I'll start a process myself of the getting our security and the hoplites ready for anti-Borg and boarding parties, while the rest of you, at least for the first 3 days, put the primary source of your efforts into figuring out how to recover the lieutenant and to safely interact with the orb.
Yes, sir.
Keyword safely. We don't need any more people suddenly running into it and causing more shitstorms.
And Asa's just going to speak up at the end and say, and in addition to all of that, if anyone at all happens to need support in any way about this very stressful job we have ahead of us, my door is always open.
I would second that. if anyone on the crew is feeling overwhelmed, please see the counsellor or the medical staff. We can't have people not at 100% when, well, dangerous things are afoot.
Not just the crew, Captain. My duty of care extends to also the civilian body aboard this ship.
Yeah, that will be put to the... Yet the civilians have access to you.
Sir, says Ensign Rymack, raising his pad.
Yep.
On that, I would like a word with you after the briefing. Less a medical thing and more a personnel issue, but he didn't look so Thralic, unless it be fast, unless you think, well, speaking with both of you might be appropriate. He shrugs. You can tell Rymack seems Rymack wants to say something, but he's very uncomfortable about bringing it up.
Speak with both of us after the meeting's over.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who is both of us? Did he mean me and the captain, or the first officer and the captain?
Rymack seemed very unsure himself, and you could tell,
Okay.
and all of you know that Rymack is not he's an ensign, and he has bridge officer duties, but he's not command line, so he's very out of his depth.
Both commanders stay behind after the meeting. Just we'll get whatever the ensign's request is out of the way.
It doesn't seem like the ensign's problem speaking is me, does it?
No.
Okay.
It seems more like it's something. It's hard to say, but you know he doesn't. When he looked at you, I'll note he's an Afrosian, so he was more concerned about what you were warning about than you. Like he seemed comfortable around you just fine.
Okay.
Well, so if that's it, everyone has a general idea of tasks to do. Lieutenant Norota, just hang about for a moment after, so I can have this quick meeting with the ensign. Then I'll take you on a tour. Apart from that, unless questions, everyone's dismissed.
I like how dismissed in this case means 2 people leave, 1 person goes off to the corner.
Essentially, yeah. I'll head into the ready room because I've been requested for a meeting.
I answered that question. Where do A's? Oh. Where's A's?
Waiting to find a tactful moment to have words with Azza about how scary the Borg are.
You know what? Give me presence medicine difficulty 1, assisted by Aza's insight medicine. Like Aza may pick up on it faster than you're putting it out there, but it's fairly easy.
No. It's that Azza was called into this meeting, weren't they?
She was.
Yep.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's why I
you're
was
right. Yeah.
waiting.
My bad.
Okay, I'm
Never
back.
mind.
Asa is going to nod at Saleya and say, because she can make a guess what just happened, and she's going to say, I have free time after this meeting. You can always find me in the medical bay. And then she'll step in here.
I don't know what she's talking about. I was only looking at these cool ships, but suddenly
Through the
medical
ships of
bay
the
is more
10th Fleet.
interesting than these cool ships.
Hey, they were golden and everything. Little standees bolted to the thing so people can't steal them.
Have you
Apparently
seen
that's
what a
thing in
Borg
the tent.
cube can do to a golden ship?
Probably not much.
Oh,
I
I'd
know
pay to
what a
watch the
very
Aldemono go up against the board.
man do because of a Borg cube to some golden stuff.
How about we don't bring up the Aldemona when I'm still struggling with the Borg?
Wow.
I mean, we don't currently know about the Aldemona outside of
I don't think literally
Well-
anyone but maybe Pend and Oda do.
no the people, some of the people on the ship.
Yeah. Like, a decent chunk of the Achilles crew do.
So, Ensign, you wanted to talk to us about something? By all means.
I don't really know the protocol on this sirs. But Captain, we some of the science staff are beginning to question the leadership of Ensign Venn and his suitability to lead the department. There's no like open insubordination or anything, but it's becoming something of an issue among the enlistees in the science department.
Specifically, do you know what their issues are?
Well, and to be clear, sir, I don't believe this myself, but there's a few enlistees who blame Venn for what's happened. They think that the way things are now, the way everyone's lives have changed, the way that our careers basically were rewound back a year. I mean, for us as officers, it's not that big a deal. I mean, science is science, and we get to do it. But among the enlistees, a lot of their lives have been disrupted quite severely. And I've been working with, Venn has been trying to work with Commander Thralic, Commander Aza, and it's helped with the officers, it's helped with some of us, but I'm noticing a trend of it being of lower deck officers starting to whisper about, well, not officers, enlistees, sorry, who are whispering things. They tend to go quiet around Venn, and they're very guarded, especially since he's had Betazoid. But I am very keen of sight, as you may know, sir. So, and I know a little bit about reading lips, so I see things. I see certain people talking to each other, and I'm worried. I don't know exactly what to do about it because I don't think we should replace Venn. But I'm worried that he will lose the confidence of the science department. And there's not a lot of us, so if even half of our staff oppose him or don't trust his opinions as the chief of science, that's like the medical staff not trusting their doctor, the counselor, sorry, or the crew not trusting you. It can hinder our ability to give you unbiased, clear advice to scientific problems that you encounter. But I'm not trying to fix it. Is the problem? I'm not. You can see he's starting to ramble as he seems a little. Again,
Hanson.
He's command of 2. He's just a good enough command to be able to lead teams, like a research team, not the whole department.
I see he's rambling a little bit, and I say, Hanson.
Commander.
Don't worry about pursuing this matter too much further. I can take it from here. And for future reference, if you have such a concern, it's appropriate to bring it to the executive officer. I can make a determination on whether this is something that needs to be addressed by the captain directly. I think this is something that I would have brought to the attention of the captain. So you made a good judgment call there.
Yeah, so don't worry, you've not broken protocol. You didn't know how to deal with this situation exactly, and you were trying to be as professional and as safe with this as possible. So I truly appreciate that. Thank you, Ensign.
Sir?
For now, if the commander believes that they've got a hold of this, I'll happily leave it in their capable hands. The only thing I'd ask from you is to continue to keep an ear out or keep an eye out, and if you can, not sway them. Everyone's got their own opinions. I don't want to force a change in anyone's opinions, but just try to remind them that this is a frontier ship. Not everything is perfect. Things are always going to be difficult. There's going to be weird things happening. But if people are put into a position of command, it's because we believe they're the best people to help look after that department. Not because we specifically like them or dislike them, because we think they're the best for the job. Same as, while you're not the lead of the science department, I believe you are perfect for assisting Ensign Venn. You've got a lot more experience, but command isn't exactly your forte. So
He nods at that enthusiastically. Yep.
So try and lean on each other. You'll probably work a lot better together, and if the rest of the science department see that, it may assuage some of their fears.
Oh, gain of momentum. He hit that way more than he needed to. If I were to guess at something else, sir, I think part of it is the fact that he's a cadet, a recent cadet graduate. Official policy, where rank is rank, and if you're assigned, you're assigned. But I'm no xenoanthropologist, but I can see a level of some of the enlistees are have been in the sciences and been technicians for longer than the Ensign Venn has been in Starfleet. I don't mind it, but I know some people really will mind that sort of thing, as unworthy of that opinion as anyone should be. That it shouldn't matter, but it matters to some of them apparently, or I would guess it matters to some of them.
If some of those people wish to advance or move sideways in careers, they can apply and we'll do it. Like I said, people are placed in these positions because we believe they're the best suited for that position, not because of their age.
Aye, sir.
Is there anything else?
He looks at his pad. He taps at it. He looks at Thralic and then looks at a pen and then goes, nothing that requires your attention, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Ensign. Again, if you ever have any issues that come up, reach out to Commander Thralic and she'll assist you.
I'm always happy to schedule a meeting, Ensign.
Captain, commanders?
Dismissed.
Asa will give him a big smile. Does he walk out the door?
Well, he smiled at him, so he stopped us.
Oh no, she was just smiling at him as like, you did a good thing, not like I have anything else to say. But yeah, the second he walks out the door, Ace is going to turn and say, I know it's crew assignment is not my responsibility, but it is worth noting that Ensign Venn is a very junior officer with a lot of personal troubles, as he has experienced over the course of this his tenure on this crew. It might be worth it to give him a hand.
I think maybe a few mandatory sessions with yourself, and as I've just told Rymek, if he can lean on Venn a bit more and Venn on him, that may help him with the experience side of things. Like, not essentially a crutch, but just an experience.
I also think it wouldn't be amiss to perhaps engage in some additional training for the ensign. He did get thrown right into commanding a department immediately after a rather rushed field promotion from the academy, essentially. While he's a promising young officer, he's not followed a traditional career advancement system, Captain.
He's already seen me. I don't see the benefit in additional sessions at this point. I honestly wonder if the best course of action is to alleviate him of the stressors that are coming from holding such a high position.
at least schedule one session with him. See if it is specifically the job that's causing him these extra stresses, and if it is, I'll look into whether it's temporarily or on a more permanent basis of reassigning the head of the department. I'd like to try and give him as much time as possible to grow into the role.
Understood. And she'll tap with her pad and mark time later on whenever she can to meet with Ven about this exact topic.
Thank you, Councillor.
If that's all, I think I have to speak to another patient.
That's all for now, thank you.
And she will walk out and head to midbay.
And as soon as Aza's gone, I'm going to say to the captain, "Sir, I wasn't going to voice agreement necessarily in front of more junior officers, but frankly, I agree with Commander Aza. I'm not certain if Ensign Ven is suited to be in full command of the department at this point in time."
Don't get me wrong, I completely understand where the criticisms and where the opinions in this room are coming from. I think he has had struggles. That's for sure. Could you spend some time with him? Try to convince him to also lean on Rymek a bit more. If it's still a bit too much, it might be a case of maybe splitting the duties between himself and Rymek.
Yes, sir. Do you believe that's the correct course of action?
If you have a different opinion, please. This is in private. You don't need to hold back.
Well, frankly, Captain, usually a department lead has significantly more experience. And as I said, Ensign Ven does have a innate grasp of the sciences and has excelled in his placements. However, the career path he's followed has accelerated him far beyond what is typically expected of a first or second year ensign.
Who's the replacement, though? Rymek is not someone who can command a division. I like Rymek.
No.
He's a very competent officer. But
he's unlikely ever to proceed past lieutenant in rank. He doesn't have that ambition.
Correct.
Yes. No, we would have to search outside of the Achilles promotional schema in order to find a new science officer, I believe.
Like a sub
If it
lieutenant
comes
from the
to that.
Romulan fleet.
For now,
Oh, you are evil.
look. For now, let's go for the counselling session and, like, say, sessions with you, and try to lean on Rymek a bit more. See if we can help him come into his role. If after this assessment period, everyone agrees that he's just not there yet, then I agree. We'll have to look outside the Achilles for a new candidate.
Yes, sir. And I will remind you, Captain, that Ensign Ven was put into his position in a state of emergency.
That happens to a lot more people than we'd like to admit.
Of course, sir, but after re-establishing contact with the fleet, we did not rescind that temporary elevation in command status. These things can happen, but it's a lot of atypical behavior, and I can see how it would disturb the members of his staff who have followed a more traditional line to get to where they are now.
Agreed. Like I said, I 100% agree with you. It's just I also don't like constantly switching positions, like people in positions of power. That can cause a different type of problem.
Yes, sir.
So let's.
If at all possible, I would like to keep the ensign in his position, but he has to meet command material requirements for that.
As a freebie bit of information your characters would both know, his department score in command is 2, which is the same as Rymek's. They have the same level of command ability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the difference is he's a young player. He can improve. Rymac is he's at his cap.
Yeah, he's experienced. If he gets the veteran, maybe he'll go more into command, but that doesn't seem like where he's going.
But
he might make lieutenant junior if you give him another year, just out of sheer he didn't quit and he didn't screw up long enough.
Yeah. Well, for now, like I said, you can go through the counselling with Aza. I want you to set some parameters to see if he succeeds or fails. And depending on what your recommendation is, which at that time I'll accept, because again, I in this situation and most, I do trust your opinion on most matters. If the consensus is he is not yet suitable for the role, we'll deal with it then.
Yes, sir. I'll see if I can set up some coaching sessions with the ensign about the rigors of command.
Thank you, Commander.
Captain.
Dismissed.
Part.
And I'll head out to the Lieutenant Commander.
As you head out, totally not Tal Shiar, could you roll me a challenge die, please?
Oh no.
Everything's fine, don't worry about it.
Lieutenant Commander.
While those conversations were going on, Ninurta would have started running a detailed analysis on the interior sensor readings we got of the wormhole and Rylov's disappearance therein.
Mm-hmm.
To see if I can start laying the groundwork for how we might be able to get him back, or where he might have actually wound up.
Insight because of incomplete information. Insight engineering. Insight engineering, assisted by computers engineering of the ship. Difficulty of 3.
Okay. Let's see. Take a momentum and 2 threat for 4 dice and bold. Would field dynamics apply?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how we're rolling tonight. I see how it is. We roll one of those whiffs. So that's 4 on a 3, so we gain 1.
Well, it would seem that there is a certain level of chronoton radiation involved, which may or may not indicate temporal travel, or could just be interference based on where it may be just a byproduct of the tunneling process.
Rosen bridge, yeah.
It's so there's some, if in theory, if you were at where the wormhole at an open wormhole, you could in theory account for that in your annular confinement beam and target and hopefully find Roloff more easily and beam him from wherever he is. It'd be very difficult to do. In theory, that would work, but you would need to be within close range of a wormhole that is directed at where he is. Which also means you'd have to generate a wormhole to even make the target. But up until this roll, you couldn't have even done that much because there was that hidden factor of when you're trying to beam people through it, you beamed the object, not him. Like being able to beam him just wasn't an option simply because of that interference. His movement caused interference that made the beam not possible. Now you know why it failed.
I think I at least have the beginnings of how we might be able to recover Rylov, although may require opening up our own wormhole.
No, that's not the weirdest thing anyone said.
Oh, Captain, you wanted to show me something about the ship?
Yes, I assume you've gone over the basic specs of the Achilles NX.
Yes.
It's time to show you why this is truly a prototype ship, and how we're now sharing essentially transphasic torpedoes with the fleet.
Okay.
Come with me.
Ninurta will follow along.
Oh, good thing I kept that room ready to go. Boop. All these boop. Go there. You go here.
I am 100% not telling the council person what the fuck this is.
Council person might know.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone in the civilian world knows about this stuff, it's the people overseeing military affairs.
Yeah, but I'm not taking him to a room with sentient crystals.
Is this a wall or just a zone marker?
Zone marker.
Okay.
But also, it's where a force field would pop up, so for
Okay.
the similar reasons.
So yeah, Ninurta seeing this will immediately start scanning it with his engineering tricorder.
I can save you a little bit of time. These are quantum phase crystals.
You see the crystals inside the containment unit as it slowly turns, and you see bits and pieces of it phasing out of existence and then rephasing as it continues its turn.
I've had these things with me for a good portion of my life. I used to use them in a hand weapon, and I figured out a way using the old phase tech from the failed Pegasus incident to incorporate their energies into torpedoes.
And what do these do as far as the everyday running of the ship, sir?
Not too much, but essentially we use the power generated from them to modify the torpedoes. But we also have access to this type of power for other projects if people get creative.
What level of power are we talking about?
They're essentially beings from... You understand, like, the different, like, levels of existence, correct?
Yes, yes.
These are quantum beings.
Sophons?
Kind of. Essentially, for some reason, even though they're shielded right now, Pen will go over to them. Just lower the shields. They're not inherently dangerous. Like I said, I've been with these since as long as I can remember. If at any time they reached out to me and asked to be released, or if they were in harm, I would see to it that they would be taken care of. But yeah, essentially I work with these as a base working point to come up with stuff.
Fascinating. It just so happens that one of my areas of study was quantum phase mechanics.
So yeah, that's
There's
one.
a focus that'll come in handy on this boat.
That's one of my specialities as well. Like I said, I was the one who helped primarily develop the quantum phase torpedoes.
Yes, an impressive weapon system.
But if you have any ideas of things you wish to do with them, you can. Just remember these are sentient, and if you mean them ill will, they'll deal with you themselves.
Have you managed to establish communications with them?
They're psionic. If they wish to talk to you, they'll talk to you.
Fair enough. And what is the security level on this information, Captain?
The boat knows about it, obviously not the civilians, for clear reasons. And essentially, unless you're an admiral or have physically been in contact with these beings, you should know nothing about them. And for the fact of
Little left of the past, but what greed brings from it.
But
Now.
if anyone breaks into this room or something goes wrong with this room, essentially the room vents, barriers are up every single aspect of the room, and that's why it's such high security clearance to even get in here.
There is little left of the past, but what greed brings from it. Did you get that too, Captain?
Did I, Corbinian?
Yeah, you felt it. It's like a word on the tip of your tongue that just a phrase that came to mind.
Huh. Seems you're trying to give us a message. I'll reach out and place my hand on the crystal.
I'll be scanning the shit out of this.
You feel like you're hearing it in reverb, like echoing at you. And you hear yourself saying it, but not with the confidence or assurity of someone who is stating the fact. You're repeating somebody else. To Nanerda, the scans indicate that Pend is... You see various versions of quantum realities of Pend currently here. So for a brief moment while he's touching it, various versions of him are in that exact same spot. So there's this weird doubling effect that's going on. And you can see Pen mouthing the words and looking, some of the pens mouthing the words and looking confused, some looking irritated, and current pen is doing what current pen is doing, it stating it probably out of query, like trying to figure, like querying an Elcars.
Huh. I'll thanks for that. I'll take a step back. There is little left of the past, but what greed brings from it. Does that ring a bell?
God. Insight. Shoot. Insight, command, or science. Difficulty of 5. 5, is that right? I'm gonna check your traits. 1 second. What? Oh, traits, not talents, smart guy. I was like, wow, you have so few traits. Oh, that's a... Difficulty 4.
Okay. I'll take command. Focus in mental prowess.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll 6 challenge dice. You get 5.
Thank you.
I'm gonna re-roll. There we go.
What was the diff? 5?
Down to 4.
5 for anyone other than Pen. Pen has a trait that pulls it down. But you're free to roll it. Your character. It is possible that Nanerda might know this.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm gonna let this one slide. I've had to spend way too many resources on a 11.
I'll be right back while Pen percolates that.
Hey, question to the group.
Mhm.
We still have our data that we received about all the Iconian vaults, didn't we, when we were dealing with the Alcarans?
I think we do.
But in this reality, aren't all the vaults moved to the core now? They're not in the Shackleton anymore?
They are, but we have the information on what the vaults were.
Ah. I see what you're getting at.
Because that's an Alcaran phrase describing the Iconian vaults.
Goodness.
Oh no.
We sent him to an Iconian vault.
Also, someone was just sent to the core of the galaxy.
Yeah, we've just sent him to an Iconian vault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi.
So I guess the question is one of the vaults reality altering devices?
Yeah, that's what I'll
That
ask.
sounds about right,
Yeah.
honestly.
Like I said, I think we do have that data still, so that'll be something I'll have to look through to confirm. But that's also a huge fucking narrowing down of information.
There
worry
was a
about it.
vault that had a device that allowed you to move between realities because we were headed there at one time.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the after we stormed the gate. There were three vaults. One the Achilles was going to, and two that the Klingons were going to. And one of those three vaults, I don't remember which one, had a device
Personal.
that lets you.
Yeah, personal device.
Yeah, it lets
Personal
you.
dimension travel.
Oh, there were
Devices, whatever.
two. There was one that had the personal devices, and one that had like a
You
drive
could
for a
mount it on the
ship.
ship. It wasn't like
Yeah.
a. It didn't have the drive. It had the means to make it, though.
Yeah, it had the
Exactly.
blueprints.
There was also a place that had a gateway, essentially, to let you travel between.
That's where we were leaving from. We destroyed that gate, I think.
Oh, no,
I'm back.
No, it was like a planetary type of
Vault
a thing on a planet you
42,
could walk
navigation and interspace.
Something like that. I'll as I'm taking my hand away from the crystals. Oh, thank you, friend. I'm gonna place you back in secure space right now. But
Back to yourself.
no, it's also for them as well. But
Good
yeah,
work, Wesley. I'll most likely kill you in the morning. In the meantime,
but if you need, just reach out again. Thank you. Lieutenant Commander Nanota.
sir.
If you don't need anything else from here, I need to go look up an old Iconian vault.
I don't even know if he knows what that is.
Very good. Do you believe that Lieutenant Rylov may have been transported to this location that you speak of?
In our previous reality, that's a different conversation, don't worry about it.
I probably will, but thanks.
We gained information on a bunch of Iconian vaults. One of them, or more than one of them, were regarding different realities. So, if he's been sent to the galactic core, which all the vaults were transported to, it's possible he was sent to one of the reality vaults.
I'm going to send the data that I got through my analysis of Rylov's disappearance to Ben's pad or whatever. This data might give you, if you can find something that lets us link to this vault area, I think from there we can narrow it down and potentially beam Rylov home. Hopefully the data will give you something to look for.
Thank you. It's another data point, and hopefully that should narrow it down. Um, while I'm looking into this, could you assist the teams with the orb? Hopefully, we can gain some insights from that.
Of course, Captain.
Before you
I'm
go,
just all muttering about where having still never seen engineering.
before you go, I'll give Ninota the code to access the room, but not to access the crystals directly.
Okay.
So you can come in here to do research, but touching the crystals is a no-no.
Yeah. Looky, no touchy, touchy.
Yeah.
Like the rules of the champagne room, anyway.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Or the rule of the zoo.
Only over the clothes. I got it.
So exit stage right for the two of you.
Essentially, yeah.
Pursued by a bear.
Pursuit. Ah, fuck.
Not two of you, no. No, stop.
To Med Bay. New scene, by the way. Less creepy music though. Nothing creepy yet happening.
God, I love just randomly going back to the quantum phase crystals because it's just a random source of random shit.
I believe a certain counselor is meeting with a certain counselor.
Before that,
Capsule
I'm
section.
going to give you a threat to ask 2 questions.
Certainly.
Compared to ships of a similar size and medical complement, does the Achilles seem to have a well-run medical bay?
The Achilles class in general has fairly small facilities. It seems that this particular model has been retrofitted to have, not retrofitted, but has been remodeled to allow for larger wards. Basically, medical 1 to medical 2. Medical 1 just means they had this room
Yeah.
and that was the entirety. Other ships of this size,
Well, what I mean, not like if I went to any other 10 scale 5, cruisers with level 2 med bays, how does the Achilles crew compare to them? Not are the facilities good, but is the crew good?
What I will say is that Isa has a command 10, or command
God.
4.
Holy shit.
Yeah, command 10. It's for the president. I have a command 4. And she served in Starfleet for over 10 years at this point. However, so while she is a good leader and has a variety of focuses relating to like personal relations outside of therapy, however, she is not the most present leader. She relies heavily on her staff because she splits her duty between being CMO, being the ship's main counselor, and being a officer on the bridge, the second officer of the boat. So I would say she does a good job running medbay, but she doesn't often get the chance to run medbay. And many times they are left directionless because she is not there.
CMO's assessment. I'll leave it at that, really.
All right.
Plus, she's got a groovy hippie couch in her office.
The original idea for Asa was that she was a groovy hippie from Bayshore.
How'd that work out?
Well, then we fought the Borg and, other stuff happened.
Fair.
You have a second question there, Celia.
Because it's not just what I can see, it comes from rumors and contacts, and stuff. Does the Achilles seem like it has the facilities to handle a mass casualty event caused by the Borg? Like, we have crew members dying from phaser, compartments exploding from phaser attacks, but we also have like another section of crew member coming in who are half assimilated. Like, can the Achilles handle those kinds of situations?
It can handle itself, but it can't handle other ships. Its medical department's too small, but it can handle its own crew. Though there are no Borg specialists aboard, as I understand. No one in the staff is a Borg. No one in the medical department.
Yes. No one in Starfleet.
Which I guess kind of reinforces in Soleia's mind why this is not a command ship with an admiral leading other ships. It's a ship led by a captain, because it can support itself in multiple ways, but it may not be able to support other ships. Like a galaxy could with 3s in departments and not 2s.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll go see the counselor.
I'll also highlight as you step through the door that the NX Achilles is classed as a Pathfinder recon. So its idea is to get to a place, see things, maybe solve the problem if they can, and then get the hell out of there for a more specialized ship. It's just that the Achilles is a recon and force type ship. It's an unusual Pathfinder recon vessel. I will note the other Achilles class vessels are not Pathfinder recons.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Soleil is trying to determine. Why is this cruiser, Scale 5 cruiser, one of the most powerful assets the 10th Fleet has, or at least the Shackleton Command has? Why is it not? Does it not have its own admiral? And why is its captain, who is very distinguished, not an admiral? Right. Why are there not fleet elements attached to this? I'm trying to get to the bottom of those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And
you were assaulted or soothed, depends how you look at it, by the incense of the counselor's office.
Is it Vulcan in origin?
It is not. It is. You can. I think it's reasonable that you can hazard a guess. These are spices and scents from Bejor. And yeah, there's.
Is that going to cause me problems being a Vulcan?
Oh, don't you guys have really sensitive smells?
They actually have to take deadeners for that to serve on ships with humans, so.
Yeah, but even that seemed in the show. Well, it wasn't a thing that Spock ever dealt with because they hadn't come up with that plot line yet. But
yeah, later.
In Enterprise, even the blockers seem to only be like a partial solution.
Up to you, I guess.
You know what?
Progressed since then.
Well, no, it's up to the person who has 30 threat.
I will increase all tasks that you're doing in this room by in complication. As the scent is, the particular choice of scents is just enough to be distracting. Not enough to make things more difficult, but enough that your mind might wander for a second. Because you're focused on that particular brand of sandalwood mixed with lavender, and it's just enough to draw your attention away.
And yeah, I'll say there's art on the walls, soothing ocean waves and forests, probably also Bejor in origin. And yeah, some very, we'll say, bright and flamboyant couches here.
Wait, you've got forests and oceans for the first desert planet?
Bejor's not a desert planet.
Yeah.
No,
I don't swap
is.
them out. I don't swap them out depending on who I'm seeing.
Yeah, I know.
They're for me, not for you.
The work in here.
Yeah, I imagine you'll buzz the door and she'll say, "Come in," and
I just bar the door and run in. No. Yes. Yeah. I imagine as the door opens, Slay is going to be hit with a wall of incense and is going to freeze for a second and look around, kind of disappointed.
Mhm.
And find a Bajoran idiom for not expecting to see you in this capacity so soon.
Well, the path the prophets take us on is never the one we expect to go on. And she'll say, while I did not expect to see you so soon either, I am happy to help you in any way I can. The things the Achilles face often do a number on the mind.
Yeah, Saleya will take a seat and say, it's not what you faced. It's what you don't know you could face.
She'll frown and she'll say, are you allowed to share confidential information in this context?
I don't know the answer to that, GM.
Aza's
'Cause-
bound by the Starfleet Medical Code of Secrecy, so she
Yeah,
can't.
and
Anything
I-
she's told that can't go beyond unless it has imminent harm connotations.
I
yeah,
thought so,
unless
but
you're
I
harming
know
someone or else. Okay.
a major portion of this trauma came from what I knew from the council, not what was described by the tactical cube. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was.
You wouldn't be allowed to go into the details of it necessarily of how you know things, but you could talk about them in general.
In
Like
general,
you wouldn't be able to say dates and times, but you could say in this this event or that event.
yeah, in general, we're all going to die from the Borg, but
Like in the fall of 2000, in the winter of 2000, was it fall of 2001 was an unpleasant time for American intelligence.
Mhm.
It's like if you know enough, you know what I'm referencing. If you don't know enough, then I'm just referencing a time period, but you get what I'm saying something.
Yeah, in that case, Ace is going to say, unless you are posing an imminent threat to yourself or someone else, I do not and cannot say anything you say here. However, I would encourage you to abide by the decorum rules of your own employment.
yeah, I wouldn't want any rumors of impropriety hanging over the next election. Have you ever counseled a Vulcan before?
Asa is going to think for a moment and say, I have not dealt with any regular of Vulcan descent. I have, however, studied Vulcans as part of my studies on Earth, and I have spoken to many Vulcans who have been employed on the ships I have served on. I am familiar with many forms of thought. I don't expect it to be an issue.
I only ask because I can show you what I fear easier than I can tell you.
In that case, Asa will inch a little bit closer and say, if that is how you'd wish to communicate this, I consent to a mind meld.
Saleya will put hands on two sides of Ezra's face and say your mind to my mind, your thoughts to my thoughts, and show as the depth of Saleya's fear of the Borg. No, not a great idea, but hey, she said it was okay.
I presume Aza's assisting. Well, Aza's the one that's examining. So, Aza, you can do reason or insight medicine. Difficulty 4 because you're complication 5 because you're in the mind of a person who is scared rather thoroughly of the Borg. Celia, it can assist with control plus medicine or control command because you're trying to what's the phrase? Control, so to speak, the amount that spills out of you. So you're not just obliterating Ace's mind with what you're feeling.
You said insight medicine. Okay.
Or reason, whichever's better.
Insight. I'm a people person. Insight medicine. Either a focus in psychiatry, because I imagine part of this is covered under psychiatric training, or a focus in empathy that I'm trying to relate to these thoughts as they're shown to me.
Both would work. They give different answers. Like I'll answer the question differently.
Let's go with psychiatry then, because I need a clinical position here, I think. Okay. And this is a role not to withstand the horrors of what I'm seeing, but to analyze them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops.
Are you daring? Because this is kind of a forward thing to do, and Saleya does not hold to most Vulcan concepts of
I could see
controlled
that argument.
emotion. Like I'm trying to ride the wave rather than hold it back.
I could see that, yeah.
Okay. And can I activate psychoanalyst? I got this sound a while ago, but I haven't used it yet. Essentially, whenever I'm in like a social conflict or a social situation, I can increase the number of complications I'm rolling with, and in exchange, ask that many questions.
Okay.
I just for both of our sakes, I'll remind you that the mind meld talent specifically calls out that there can be really bad complications. So I would be careful.
Well, that's where the fun comes in. Complication 3.
I didn't need this mind anyways.
So I will highlight that this is self-inflicted, but the initial complication increase was up to 5 due to Celia's fearful mind.
5?
So you'd be adding 3 on top of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed about it already being comp 5. Then scrap that. It's already too risky. I apologize. I thought it was at 1.
Wait, you don't want to go for it?
That's why I thought I'd warn you. It's like, oh, hold on.
What is your score you're using?
15 with a focus, so we don't have to worry too much.
No, but if you increase the comp range 1 more, you'd only be critting on 15s.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll just keep it 1. Okay. All right. GM, spending my determination on the value despite my experiences, I have much to learn. I am learning a very new thing here, both in the sense I'm doing a new experience and learning about a foe I'm not intimately familiar with, or learning new information about them.
I will take it.
Okay. First things first. Okay. That's 2 successes off the back. You said diff 4 or diff 5?
Diff 4.
Okay. So it's 5 threat. Okay, spending my bold to reroll 1. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. We'll spend 2 of that momentum to quash and have 5 momentum.
Although a junior counselor, Celia, in her role on the Federation Security Council, has been briefed and sat at briefings or detailings of various attempts by about the Borg threat in general. It is one of the things that Starfleet Security Council talks about often, because it is one of the existential threats to the Federation as a whole. So it comes up in conversation. And there's arguments as to not only what the Borg threat represents, what kind of terrible things have happened that sometimes have to be visualized in full holographic 3D because the counselors need to know what they're legislating about, what they're talking about. Seeing records of starships that have tried and failed against the Borg to withstand them, both civilian and Starfleet, but also some of the more, let's say, extreme solutions that the councils have to listen to about the Borg. Some of them are very Starfleet and very federational, others less so. But they have to be entertained, they have to be talked about, they have to be debated. And these are things that Celia has sat through. But you get the feeling that for Celia, at least, and likely for most counselors, it's an academic debate. You're not the one in the field, you're not the one out there. It's still terrifying and it's still disturbing, but you can kind of weather it. There's a distance to it. It's happening over there. It's a report I'm seeing on a file. It's a hologram I can deal. And Celia, like most counselors in the Security Council, tend to be rather resilient psyche because they kind of have to be. But now Celia is facing the very real fact that she is going to be one of those stories. Because as mighty as the Achilles is, ships of more legacy and firepower have fallen to the Borg before. Though there is a certain level of comfort, which is why it's not Trauma 5, for example, is that this is an Achilles class, not an Over-Earth. The Achilles is more likely to survive an encounter. But also
Just
the
a little
fact
bit
that
slightly.
And also Celia seems to have an atypical Vulcan mind and philosophy, which is helping. But it isn't it's not a Vulcan abnormality or disorder. It's more a different philosophy on how to process it. But even that process is struggling under the weight of imminent assimilation and suffering.
I don't know if this is for both of us. It may only be for me. I'm not, because I have the talent. I'm not sure, but since we were successful, momentum may be spent to gain more information or peer deeper. And we only have one, so I don't know.
I'll allow it in this case. My meld is kind of is a symbiotic mental connection in its most benevolent form.
Yeah, Asa is going to, silently and is going to silently watch all this unfold, and then she'll turn to you and say,
Are you breaking the contact?
"Oh, I assume. Oh, that's right.
Because
That's
if
right.
you don't ask a question about Sleigh's mind, I'm going to use the momentum to ask one about you.
Okay. Then you know what? I don't have anything immediate to ask, so you can ask the question.
Saleha wants to see if Asa has experienced anything as that Asa found as terrifying as Saleha finds the Borg, and what Asa did about it.
Can I shoot you a DM then?
Go ahead.
I'll send it to the GM too for context.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, why would Penn get promoted?
That's what Saleya wants to know. Why Penn hasn't been promoted yet.
Part of it was, oh, this is not a ship that supports other ships, so it's not designed really to be a command ship.
I mean, Penn also doesn't think he would never get to the rank of captain, so he definitely doesn't see himself becoming an admiral.
Mind you, he's hit
Yeah, but-
9 years of being a captain.
You've had many years being a captain. You're one of the most decorated captains in the fleet. So
Mhm.
Saleya thinks there has to be politics behind why the Admiralty hasn't elevated you.
I mean, Penn's probably said no in the past.
Just waiting on direct message from Isa.
1 second.
Sure. This is iambic pentameter. I give up.
That would be truly impressive. Like,
Ad
give
hoc
me a
iambic
full
pentameter
poem.
backstory.
Yeah, give me your backstory in poetic form in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Can you write something along the lines of the Epic of Gilgamesh right now?
I mean, I'll have to grab a Coke, but sure, hold on.
You'll have to grab your chisel, right?
Clay tablet and a little mini chisel. You have to do it in cuneiform, otherwise it doesn't count.
Just
Oh,
go Beowulf,
God.
stick with the oral
I'll-
tradition.
Discord is definitely gonna charge you extra to send clay tablets.
You have to pay for the cuneiform font pack.
It depends if you have nitro or not.
Yeah, that's right. Not if you're nitro. Nitro gets you get more free clay tablets with nitro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nitro
You
gives you a
get
free
5 a
chisel.
month with nitro. Otherwise, it's like $3.99 a piece.
Right.
Yeah, showing up to the post office. They're like parcel, package, or clay tablet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, then I think you were gonna say something as you broke the. I don't know if you can break the link. I don't remember because it's been a long time since I've seen an episode where they did
Mhm.
a mind meld.
I think it's like a Vulcan. I don't think you can end it yourself if you're not the one initiating it, but typically, if someone wants out, the Vulcan's like, "Oh, okay, you want out," because they're in your head. They
Yeah.
can tell.
So
But if you want to keep her there, I think it's like can. I think that's how it's been shown before. Unless I'm
well, I
mistaken.
didn't know if I couldn't remember if it was either one of us could be the first to speak or I would break it and then. So I'll break the connection and not say anything for a few seconds.
Yeah, Asa is going to look at you and say, well, I must stress that none of the concerns you expressed are they are not unique. Now, that does not undermine the strength of them, but I do want you to know that many, even aboard this very crew, have struggled with fear of the the seemingly unending and overwhelming power of the Borg. Ultimately, there's little that we can do to fight this threat other than our jobs. However, there are many coping mechanisms that we can put in place when we are off duty to not send ourselves into hopeless despair about it.
I think you have shown me ways to manage the fear. Perhaps dinner sometime.
Lisa will smile and say, "Oh, I was one of the best cooks in Bejor. I'll happily cook you something nice."
Saleya will thank the counselor and leave.
Celia's trauma has reduced by 1.
Oh. More intense mind melds to come.
How else am I going to get better ratings? I mean, sorry, this isn't Enterprise.
I mean, might have to put in a report if Asa comes and tells me that rubbing gel on each other in the decon chamber is like a necessary medical
Yeah,
practice.
wind up in blue light with you in your underwear, rubbing gel on yourselves.
I mean, what
like,
show am
don't
I
we have like
watching?
fields for that? Like fucking, lasers? No, it has to be gel. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's not. We have ray guns. Are you kidding me?
What are we gonna do this week?
Hey,
Oh, I don't
did
know.
you go to
Traumatize the
med
Vulcan
school,
girl
huh?
again.
Wait, what website is this? I thought I was on Paramount.
Oh no.
All right, crew. Day 1. What are you doing?
Well, I'm certainly not going to engineering.
Let's see if you can make it the whole run of Nadirda's time on the
Right.
Achilles, not
Yes.
making it to engineering.
Never have a scene in engineering. Okay, so we're trying to get Rylov back. No, we're trying to deal with the orb, was what Penn told us to do.
Yeah, you essentially have 3 days as a collective to work on the Rylov issue. On the 4th day, we're switching to the Borg.
Oh, I think you just described. Sorry, 1 second.
Which, I mean, that feels fair.
Sorry, I had more in my mouth than I thought I had. So it sounds like scientific method to me, and it sounds like they get 3 shots at the cam.
That's not difficult.
Could I
Who's
could I create them an advantage?
in what manner?
By
Ordering and organizing us?
no, I'll leave that to the commander when they return. We still have information from the previous reality of the Iconian vaults.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use the information I got from Nanerta about the wormhole and what happened to Rylov, and put that towards the Iconian vaults in the Galactic Core, from what we know of the previous ones, and try to narrow down not exactly where he is, but the type of vault and the type of security that would have been involved in that vault, to make it easier for the main group. I don't know. I'm trying to use what I've got.
Reason, engineering, or science, difficulty 2, assisted by computers and the relevant department.
I'll go engineering. Would you take tried and tested? We've messed with these vaults in the past.
I would, yeah.
Would you take Eldritch Punter? Because the last time we messed around with Iconians, they set Eldritch beings on us.
I'll say no in this context.
Okay.
You're not trying to beat them up, you're trying to find somebody. Or narrow down where somebody might be.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw it out there because, you know, it might be a defensive measure, but... focus in mental prowess.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to look through my medals. I feel this is a big one. I want to try and generate some momentum for everyone as well. I think I'll star cross to increase my crit range to a 6.
Okay.
And I'll give you 3 threat. So, no crit, succumb. Can I spend a determination to mission directive?
There's no directive currently about the lieutenant. Because your orders are not related to that.
Could I put it in the fact of the sooner we rescue the lieutenant, the more I can dedicate resources to the Borg and councilman or councilperson Myth?
Unfortunately, your orders are priority 1. It should supersede all other considerations, short of the Omega Protocol.
Okay, I'll spend it to the value as a leader. Sometimes I have to make the hard choice.
It sounds like what you're doing, yeah.
Reroll 2. Yeah, so that's just a straight 4. So we gain 2.
And computers engineering in this case.
That's not a problem. I've got medals. Which one is it? Can I use... Yeah, generate gain 2 bonus. I'm going to Legion of Honor to gain 2 to squash.
Okay.
And could I Medal of Honor to create 2 to double the advantage?
It creates... Oh, sorry, say again.
To gain 2 bonus to like double the advantage.
I would say no, merely because although you are able to pull from a rather wide body of information, all current information is unknown after the reality jump point.
Okay. Well, at least there's the advantage and there's 2 momentum on the board.
Yeah. And so, scientific method, step 1. This would be an attempt of insight. Would be insight? No, you're using teleportation technology, a known thing. Research, wrong game. Reason, plus engineering, science, or medicine. Difficulty of 1 to make some initial observations. And this is the path you think will get you a solution for your problem. And that is, how do we get Ryla back?
So it's reason, science, engineering, or
Medical.
medical. I mean, Nerda can do a 15 reason and engineering.
Yeah, how about you take a crack at it with engineering?
Sounds good.
So remind me how we do this, GM.
You
what
just
am I
told me
rolling? How am I rolling?
you're rolling at this step. At step 1, you're just doing reason engineering at a difficulty of 1. This is just you going over the data that you have, and trying to iron out. Try to figure out exactly what you're looking into. Your character kind of did this step already earlier.
Okay.
And actually, because of the advantage that Penn just made, this now turns into diff 0. So this is
Okay.
you building up, just to give you a insight into the later steps. This is the last point in this method to get momentum. After this, you're just losing momentum, really. You can't really gain more until the method is over or you've run out of time.
Okay. Which means we probably need to go big on this, you think, guys?
Yeah, go big.
Okay, so take 1 threat and 2 momentum for 4 dice. Or actually take 3 threat for 4 dice. We'll keep the momentum we got.
3 threat eye. Whoops, that means I'm owed 2 more. There we go.
And then we'll pop bold.
Don't you pop bold with me.
So that's 7.
Does the ship assist?
Nope, this is purely Nerda's observational skills. But those bonus stay there because it's all part of the same roll, really. So, well, at least that's how I rule it, because scientific method is bloody hard. And I want to be nice.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave them on the board anyway.
Okay. So, step 2 is hypothesize. At this point, your research lead, whoever has the highest in the category of engineering, they're the person who now must choose between at least 3. It suggests no more, about 3 to 5, but you can do more than 5. You choose focuses you think will answer the question. There is one particular one I have in my head, and that's the right way. You may suggest a focus that answers a question, and based on how you guys explain it, I might go, that's not how I thought you'd be right, but that is correct, and that's out of the box. So if you get either the right way or out of the box, and you get those in your list of 3 to 5, you say, hey, GM, here's our list. If I say you're good to go, you go to step 3 and you start rolling. If I say no, none of those focuses work, I get 1 threat. And then you can present a new list. I will note this does not eat any of your days. Hypothesize is just a quick thing at the beginning. It's only when you're at the testing stage that days start passing. These can be focuses you have, but they don't have to be.
I'll toss out a possibility of wormhole dynamics. Anybody else got some?
As a throwback, because I'm hearing Iconian stuff, metaphysical geometries.
Ooh, fancy.
We are rolling with the Bajoran, like this is a religious object, so maybe something along the lines of Bajoran religious studies.
I mean, you could also just throw in the simple one of transporters.
That's 4 right there. I don't think we really want to get any more beyond 4.
Yeah.
So and multiple people can roll so that we can build up successes and see if we're on the right track or not. Since we only got 3 kicks for the can, right?
Yeah.
As long as they have engineering 2 or higher.
Okay. So what are folks liking?
I would start with one of the first two.
Yeah,
And
I'd
then
agree on that.
actually I'd probably go in the order you listed them.
Oh, but
Yeah.
are you, is that the 4 you're submitting to me? I don't. I try not to interrupt at this stage because people bounce ideas back and forth. So, are those the 4 you're going for step 2?
I mean, I can throw out a 5th one, knowing it's probably not that.
What is it?
Well, I got my information from quantum phase crystals. It's like quantum phase energy or
Mechanics or
technology.
something?
Yeah. Again, it's very unlikely it's that, but it's where I technically got the information from.
Well, I mean, it's not the. It's actually fairly strong when you consider, okay, it's the orb of realities or whatever. So, and we need to be sure we get the right Rylov, who's from the right reality, which is not this reality, but the previous one. So his quantum signature is different
Yeah.
than this reality.
Well, no.
What? Isn't Rylov from the previous reality?
Yes. But,
I feel like
so
there's a
yes.
yes but there.
Yeah. Well, everything's correct. Everything's correct. It's fine.
Okay.
Honestly,
so, yeah, I'm thinking
that's how we answer most questions here.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Is
So
that
I'm
your
thinking we
submission
either
for step
start
2?
with quantum phase, yes, quantum phase or wormhole dynamics.
Of that list, at least one of those is correct. To progress to get a number of hits, it's 1 through 10. It won't. Almost nothing is higher than 10, unless we're talking Q stuff. And that's not what this is. I'll tell you that right now.
And yet, we still always go up to like 13 on an incorrect guess.
Yeah. So you would roll research or insight plus engineering to rack up successes. You'll get as many as you can, and they accumulate. So if you do it multiple times, each one piles up. At any point, if you say a number like we have 7 successes or 5 successes on this, if I say you got it, then you have it, and I'll explain why you succeeded. If I say you may continue, either that's the wrong track or you don't have enough successes. And and I will remind you, you have 3 kicks at the can before you basically just run out of time.
So who all can assist? Who's got a engineering 2 or higher?
I do.
Unfortunately, I do not.
Potentially pull in.
I also have a focus in quantum phase.
Yeah. Now, quick question, GM.
I don't know if there's command stuff on there.
Does the rolling section of this count towards coordinated efforts for the risk of like an extended task, or is that rules-wise different? I've forgotten.
It's a good question. Brain. There we go. No, this counts as an extended task. Yep.
Awesome. So my assisting will give the main roller here either scrutinize 2 or progression 1. One of those is vicious, and the other one is something
Piercing.
else. Piercing, yeah. there we
Piercing,
go.
yeah.
It's piercing. It's piercing. Vicious, because progression 1 is vicious 1.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, resistance isn't an issue here. Generally, the whole point of scientific method is to bypass the resistance that you're facing.
Yeah.
Well, then I think Ninerta, this will be the time for him to take the talent Miracle Worker.
Nice.
Does have an engineering 5.
We'll warn you're not aiming for magnitude here for the purposes of Miracle Worker. Unless it does something else too, doesn't it? Actually, the minute I said
No,
that.
it's if you achieve a breakthrough and roll at least one effect on a challenge die, you achieve a second breakthrough. So it is focused on magnitudes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you that heads up before you took it. I was like, oh,
Thanks.
hold on.
Okay, so yep, everybody's got their sister ready.
Sorry. Totally not Tal Shiar. You were asking if only command staff were involved?
Yeah, I have no idea if they want to bring anyone else in or if the orders are that only command staff are doing this. I have no idea.
I don't think it would.
It's up to Nerd, I believe.
Well,
If you want assistance from non-command staff.
Sure.
yeah, so I
and
don't
in
think it would have
fact,
been hidden.
Since it's an engineering role, could I use my advantage of the engineering department?
Yep. It gives you one free hit. So consider all of the things that you've selected having at least one free hit.
Okay.
Presume that you're starting from 1 instead of 0.
But would that hurt the engineering department's ability to be ready for the upcoming fight? Because they're focusing on this.
It's
No.
his
Okay.
command power as an engineer.
Oh no, I wasn't overriding his command. I was just asking for clarity.
Yep. It's more or less the entire department's helping Ninerta, and there's a certain set. Ninerta always, as a chief engineer, always knows the best engineers to talk to first, and can always call on them because he knows his entire staff. Much like how Asa could do the same thing.
Yeah, it's the engineer's version of the medical superpower.
Is there info on contact with the prophets that's not been disseminated past the Federation Council?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Then I'll use the milestone from I don't know how to pronounce this name, but the last episode.
The Natho Kyle
Gambit accepted, yeah. Which I used a determination to understand Federation law on the prophets. To create the advantage of Ninerta not having any research blockers, like the computer saying, no, you can't look this up because you don't have clearance. If you would accept that.
You would not need to do that, given your position on the council.
What do you mean?
Well, because you can look up stuff in Memory Alpha. You have, as a Federation citizen, you would have access to Memory Alpha, and as a counselor, you have access to certain files within that structure. Like you probably have as much clearance in Memory Alpha back home as Penn does, if not higher sometimes.
Yeah, I'm confused why I wouldn't get an advantage from sharing that with Ninerta, who's the research lead.
Oh, I thought it was giving Celia that blocker. I'm like, you don't have a blocker. Or you're saying you're making sure Ninerta doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I understand now. Yes, you can totally do that. Don't mind me.
Learning all sorts of secret stuff today. My second day at work.
And I would spend that to create the advantage. I think I'd have to spend it towards a value, right?
Yes.
I'll spend it towards my directive to advise Starfleet and the Achilles on the requirement for peace in the Shackleton, because I don't want them sparking a conflict with a prophet by doing this wrong.
Okay, yeah.
That's fair.
You
Yeah.
now essentially have 2 hits on all your things.
Okay,
You
is that
don't
enough
want
to do
this
it
to
for
spiral into a religious civil war or to, anger Bejor so much
Right.
they declare a crusade. Sorry, go ahead.
So we're working on quantum phase mechanics, guys, correct?
Yes.
So whatever
We're
you
starting-
choose.
Okay, well, let's start with quantum phase mechanics. That's where some of this information came from. So do we need to save momentum for the extended task later or spend it on rolls here? What do you guys think?
Either or. 'Cause we need
Uh,
to get the hits to make sure we find what we need to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that we didn't really think resistance was going to be a problem, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you're going to want to have some available for re-rolls. So I would not spend all of it in case, but I keep at least 3 in the pool, right? That way,
Okay,
each round you have a opportunity for re-roll on the effects.
Okay, so I'll just spend 1 for 3 dice since we're getting lots of assists. And I do have a focus in quantum phase mechanics, so
We don't
woof.
No focus.
Tragic. We got a lot of.
I am assisting you there, Minerva, so you do get to re-roll that comp. Yep.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Is the ship helping?
No.
So I'm seeing 6 there, plus 2 more for various advantages for a total of 8 on quantum phase mechanics.
You may continue.
Because we
We only have-
only have 3 rounds, I don't know that we want to commit to this. Because if we are,
Agreed.
we're saying this is near the maximum difficulty.
Right.
Also,
Agreed.
I need 2 challenge dice from Shiar.
Let's just be shown to Shiar now.
I'm not saying the whole thing every time.
If the longer you stay in the wormhole, the shorter your name gets.
You may continue.
Oh, could we have? Probably not.
In
But could
space,
we have?
no one can hear your name.
Could we have spent the momentum for an extra hit or 2?
No, because you're gaining successes, not hits.
Yeah.
I know it was
In that
worth an
sense.
ask.
Okay. So what next, guys?
Maybe transporters? No, probably not transporters. I mean, profits
Only-
would probably be my.
Yeah. Bajoran religious studies.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works for engineering, but
It's a little goofy like that.
We're engineering faith. It's fine.
Well,
don't ask too many questions.
and honestly, I'm pretty sure wormhole dynamics and Bajoran religious studies are the same thing.
One's theology,
You
one's
say that and
engineering.
it's fine. The wrong
Right.
one isn't as racist.
Well, it's just like, instead of prophets, it's wormhole aliens. Instead of religious studies, it's wormhole dynamics.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
So, yeah.
you study the Bible if you're a Christian. You just kind of study wormholes if you're a Bajoran. For fun.
Yeah, so I guess let's go Bajoran religious studies.
Fortunately, I cannot help here because my engineering is too low.
Somebody get me a Bajoran engineer.
See, unfortunately, a lot of those seem to be on Varder's ship for some reason.
Odd reason, yeah. Okay, so same thing again. Spend 1 momentum for 3 dice. I'm trying to avoid giving you threat, even though I'm bold. I do not have a focus in Bajoran religious mumbo jumbo.
Slacker.
There's 3, 4, 5.
GM focus
6.
in philosophy.
7.
Has to be in the focus that you're aiming at, unfortunately.
It is one of those weird ones where it has to be the exact focus.
Yeah, it's the only time it asks you to do that.
So I just think one from Thralek.
Yep.
And then depends how much gambling Naruto wants to do.
So that's none from me. I can
That's-
re-roll mine though. What are we at on successes right now?
7.
7.
Yeah, okay. I'll re-roll mine. All right, we're at 8.
That is a solution.
Aha!
Whoa.
So it's funny that you asked about how engineering applies to this. So when interacting with an orb, there's been some studies since Cisco encountered the orbs back then, and other Starfleet officers have encountered orbs as well. The Hatfield, a more recent example, and the Svalin, I want to say. No, it's the Svalin, not the Hatfield that ran into it, I think. But there is a body of work that regards normally when you open an orb, like a benevolent orb, like a regular prophet orb, you are connecting your self to the prophets. It's a conduit through which you can communicate with each other, and your consciousness is kind of pulled in where they are, so you can kind of perceive and converse with them. The problem is you don't control that connection; they do, because you're not a hyperspatial being. You're a space-time being, so you don't know how to move up, down, left, right in that dimension. That's just beyond you. But they can move you around and push you back or keep you there. Now when dealing with Pa Wraith influenced orbs, historically the prophets are benevolent. They'll usually send you back at some point, even if they don't like you all that much. They'll eventually send you back somewhere. Pa Wraiths may not. They may hang on to you and do terrible things to you, or not. Depends on the Pa Wraith, because they are not a monolith, though they feel like it. There are engineering ways that you could interact with the orb, where you basically have while your consciousness is in hyperspace, so to speak, someone in space-time with you can go up to a device on you and basically hit the yank this person back button. Imagine a rope tied around your consciousness that pulls you out of the water.
That is a classic, like, explaining a complicated sci-fi thing with a normal piece of metaphor right there.
It is. It's like having a rope tied around your waist when you're diving through the ice.
Through that, that would allow you to converse with the beings that you can access through that orb, and perhaps engage in a mechanical sense in a social challenge to convince them to bring him back. But at least this way you're not stuck there. Because if you don't have that tether, you leave when they say you leave, if ever. Or they just send you wherever he is. So it acts as a rope, but also an anchor point as well, so you don't get yanked off, you don't get yeeted off to wherever he went.
So we're going to throw Aza into a Pa Wraith corrupted wormhole to talk with the gods.
Would that actually be the best choice of person?
Joking aside, Pens converse with hyperspace beings and is actually built for it.
Well, that's fair. I was just thinking, since Aza's a Bajoran of religious faith, it might be she might best be able to communicate, but I don't know.
No, my money's definitely on Penn.
Also,
If we
are
can
you a Romulan?
Oh yes, Chancellor is definitely like a uniformed Romulan.
Huh.
Don't question it.
And Nerta kind of looks around. Nobody seems to be thinking twice that there's a full uniformed
State liaison.
Romulan on the bridge. So he just kind of
She
chalks
didn't notice
yet
until the
another thing
research
up
was
to-
done either. He's like, wait. It's
Like days later, it's like, I've been working with a Star Navy
Right.
officer this whole time.
Right.
He just,
He's been in front of this
weird
console,
clothing.
all three arms just going through the thing, and he's like, ah.
Yes, I'm the state liaison officer. It's a long story.
I bet.
It's about 3 or 4 episodes long, really.
It's okay. We throw Pinned into a pyrite corrupted wormhole to talk with the gods.
Yes.
Question: can we only
Oh,
send
Inerta
one
stands by
person?
with a defibrillator.
Well, that's a
Can
good
we,
question, actually.
can we only send one person? Because if we can send multiple people, I mean, this isn't just Asa looking for an excuse to come along, but like, it seems like a safer bet to send a team of people.
Each item would be 2 opportunity, 1 escalation to create.
So yeah.
So you just once you've like the nerd has figured out how to make something that would do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were calling us the people items.
So did I.
So, and I mean,
I mean, in some
we've got-
civilizations.
I mean, yes.
as long as we're not too worried about the threat, which generally we aren't, we can send up to 3 people. But yeah, I think Ninerta stays on this end to operate the device. Unless is it going to need a medical person to tell when to call people back, or is it
science.
just sort of our science? Yeah. Or
We have options. To be fair.
Yeah. like I figure engineering's at least building the thing. So that's where engineering comes in.
Medical would be used to measure if the person's heart rate seems elevated or if they seem especially stressed, that sort of thing. Because the thing is, when the person's pulled in, they have no real way to communicate back. So because their
Right.
consciousness isn't on this dimension right now. So you either would set a set time limit of act for a certain amount of time, I'm yanking them, or I'm waiting till or a medical person says I'm waiting for certain bio readings to come up, and that's when I'm pulling them.
Is it possible to use telepathy to bridge that gap? Like one person using their telepathic abilities who's grounded here, using it on one of the people who's being like projected out to maintain contact?
You would. Yes. You would not be able to talk. You can't interact with the other dimension, but you'd be perceiving what's happening in it through that person. So you two could talk to each other, but you couldn't be heard by anyone else.
I can offer my services to do that. That way we don't lose contact with the person going in.
But aren't they
So you could be
physically
in a
going
mind
in
meld
your
with
own
somebody
body?
and then say, pull them out, and we could
Yeah,
activate the
and if
device.
something goes wrong, they would be able to tell me to get them out. Right.
Rather than
Right.
relying on an educated guess, we would know
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Because you could be
So-
stressed just because the person's being annoying or they made a scary face,
Mhm.
Sounds like what brings us back to a one-person show as far as the person.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen an episode with a multi-person mind meld. It might have happened where you have one. I don't actually
I
know.
don't think there was one with good
If it-
results.
If it
Yeah.
would be, it would have been in the Enterprise where they were doing all the things with the
Yeah, generally you need the daisy chain because you need for each mind you need a meld controlled person to manage the flow. Otherwise, you can. I mean, in theory,
Well,
one person could do it, but it's very difficult.
This works for Saleya anyways, because Saleya really does not want Pinned and Thralic being in danger at the same time. So
Well, how does this sound? Myself and Asa can go in with the device. Saleya can mind meld Asa. And then...
And what about Senva? There's another Vulcan on board.
do they have the talent?
No. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can't do it then.
Okay.
And they have Kulinar, but not mind meld, unfortunately.
I just was looking through the lists.
Yeah.
Come back.
Let me think.
I think that might be our best option. Like, you mind meld with Asa, and that way you can still overview things, and if things start going wrong, you can at least get Asa out to then get Asa to get me out.
Agreed. Bluntly, sir, I trust you, but I do not know how well news would go back home if Starfleet did this without at least one Bajoran present. I think if we both go, that would be for the best.
Well, not to put a damper on any of this, Commander, Captain, but my understanding is that you may not necessarily end up in the same place in the same time dealing with the same entity. So if only one of you, we're only connected to one of you, we may have no real way of telling beyond like one of you goes into cardiac arrest that they're in trouble.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. But, and it's not without risks, I agree. But sometimes you do have to take calculated risks. And while I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this situation, I think the experience I have and the connection the commander has gives us a much better chance of succeeding where others might fail. Plus, a lot of things and entities have tried to kill me over the last God knows how long. A 10th dimensional being would be new, but not out of the realms of what I've already dealt with.
Well, they, all due respect, sir, they fail to kill you right up until they don't. But in any event, I would recommend that we have you thoroughly wired up with every medical sensor known to science to give us any kind of warning that we could possibly
Agreed.
get.
See, I would appreciate that, but then I wouldn't be able to write a report on it that could be seen anywhere.
As
Is that
long as
Talara?
Yes.
so, as long as you don't need to check my temperature in 2 different ways, you can hook me up to whatever you want.
Um, GM, can Asa make a medical roll?
Measure twice, cut once, sir.
Can Asa make a medical roll to make a list of monitoring devices needed to ensure the safest connection? I assume. I'm sorry.
I was going to say reason medicine difficulty 2 plus computers medicine.
I'd want stuff to measure heart rate and brain patterns and neural waves and whatever. Reason medicine difficulty 2. Okay. If I'm specifically, what we're majorly worried about here is mental problems. Well, I'm specifically worried about phenomenon affecting the brain because it's our consciousness being transported. Would that work for focus in psychiatry, or would that need focus?
I think it would fall within psychiatry. Yes, that would be a way to measure it. Yep.
Okay, so that focus works.
Yep, that works for me.
Okay. Reason medicine.
There's some scientist out there who's like, no, that's wrong. It's close enough. Shut up.
Spock is every kind of scientist known to man, so blah, 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 blah. Okay. 1 threat, 2 momentum.
All right.
Jesus, what was the difficulty?
2.
Okay. Can I spend?
Nicely done.
Can I spend 2 of that momentum to create the advantage that we have a very well set up and unencumbering medical system wired to us?
Yeah.
And can I also? Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
And can I use my counselor superpower to say that there is a team of medical professionals standing by to monitor us?
You mean your CMO power?
Yeah.
You could do that, yeah. You have a standing advantage of a medical team just sitting there monitoring everything.
Saya, Dr. Saya on standby with us. Oh wait, they need to be removed because they got in trouble. In that case, oh god, I guess it's just Kobuk and EMH.
What, no confidence in the nurses?
I don't think the nurses have any stats, or they weren't used enough to have anything really.
Well, they will. They
Well, at
will
least-
now.
At least Kobuk has some talents
Hmm.
and a couple of.
Don't you worry, Talora can do medicine. She read a book on it.
Did the reading.
Yes. She has did the reading. It's so fun.
Let's do this from. Oh wait, it would have to be in the room with the thing. What am I doing? I had
Can we
set up
just
ID.
do it in medbay?
Boop. Well, you need to be able to get at the device.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah, the cube.
So the plan is to try to convince whatever entities we find to send Ryloff back. Correct? We're not going to try to lock onto him and beam him out from somewhere.
Or preferably. Oh, we also need to spend 4 momentum and 2 threat
Yeah.
for the devices.
Could we even beam him out if he's in the center of the galaxy physically? I don't. Even the best transporters in the world just don't go that far.
If you're able to establish a dimensional tunnel, you'd put yourself in effect close range to him to beam him.
Okay.
But that's not the path you guys went. You guys went the Bajoran, the out of the box answer. Like, well, we could just interact with the orb in its actual form. Like, I mean, that is a way you can do it. Yes. Friggin' Frelling there, and a bunch of medical staff in the room.
Yeah, just gonna leave a note for Thralic and Jaishu. If die, please avenge.
If die, please avenge.
Patricia Schreier will do that unofficially because
Of course.
Patricia Schreier avenges everything.
Please, for the council's sake, add an asterisk that says, "Please avenge in a peaceful way."
I'll note that as a standing advantage for Ven, because Ven is constantly monitoring it, its containment breach won't any damage will happen to the people only in this chamber. So it won't like expand out to the rest of the ships or grabbing people because he's literally constantly monitoring. And actually, he'll probably be smart enough to go, how about I go over here? And maybe the science person should go over here too. So it's only the people who are interacting with the orb that are in direct threat.
Well, Commander, are we ready to go speak to your god/god/ possibly demons? If it's Pyraphs?
I don't know if I'll ever be ready, sir. However, I will go. She kind of just shrugs.
I think
I
I also have
will
to be
go.
there because I have to touch them, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's another person who's being imperiled due to Starfleet recklessness. Typical Achilles class.
Hey, if I survive, it'll all go in my report. And if I don't, hey, it didn't matter, did it?
Yeah, if you die, it's not your problem anymore. That's my thinking.
Yeah, it'll just be the full council's problem.
Oh, I have wrong music. It's this one.
Yeah, about to touch the orb. Take me to your leader.
I'm gonna guess it doesn't recognize any authority over itself.
Probably not.
Sure, itself. Technically speaking.
Oh, and since these devices had an opportunity cost, right tool for the right job kicks in. So it will give it an advantage.
Yep.
Let's have the advantage that the the locks are the rope is tied very tightly around their consciousness, and so it will likely overcome any resistance, either or be more likely to overcome any resistance, whether environmental or outside agent. An advantage to get them back safely.
I'll take that.
Okay.
God, I hope this isn't like a Doctor Strange thing where we keep having to go, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
God, you have the Benedict Cumberbatch chewy American accent down perfectly.
Well, luckily that's because I'm English.
The chamber awaits.
Shall we?
Yeah, Aza will do a quick prayer to ward against the evils of the pirates, and then motion for you to go first.
Before you touch it, let me establish the connection.
Right, of course. Whenever you are ready.
Yeah, I'll head up to it and wait for Aza and Saleya.
Oh wait, no, she's willing. Dick too.
I hope so. We talked about this beforehand.
I think Nanerta would be in the room too to keep an eye on things in the engineering part.
I'll give you momentum, and that's probably it. You know, I realize I didn't take any focus related to mind melding.
Well, that's called tough
Excellent.
shit.
Hey, general momentum. You're able to establish the connection. Does Aza approach?
Yep, once the connection is made, I will be in here too. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm taking it personally.
Okay. Please do.
But yeah, I'm gonna reach out and knock, let me in, please. Like, Penn understands this is a batshit crazy idea. But after so many batshit crazy ideas, it just seemed normal.
New scene.
Did I lose everybody?
No, as you stare into the purple void. You hear a voice by Prance. Purple void, purple void.
Well,
In silence, an infinitely stretching star field where the light of every light is purple. In the voids, there is naught but nothingness. No light, no star, no life. You are alone.
I'm alone, but are you willing to speak?
At this point, slowly you become aware through Aza that Aza has appeared next to Pend.
Yes, we are representatives from faction in the third dimension. We we have come to negotiate with you.
Yes, you're not the first being of this scale I've spoken to. Our minds can handle speaking. Oh, it's a big ass Mimosa. Ah, so you're going to be the Avatar?
Captain, I recommend we treat this being with respect and dignity. I know that's very hard for you.
Negotiate what?
We would like to negotiate the return of the Romulan who happened to pass through your orb, if possible.
Why should we do that?
I know there's nothing in reality that we could truly offer beings of your scale, but there's also the fact of we could put the orb where it would never see the light of day again. That's not a threat. It's just a case of it would be a shame if that happened, because then you would no longer have influence on any dimension. It seems this avatar is a mute.
Or perhaps on mute.
Mm. They do not understand. They are linear.
Yeah, we have beings like that as well. It seems that's a cosmic universal.
Yes, we may be linear, but we are devotees of the power of the orbs. If you give us favors, we will treat you with dignity and respect and, well, the worship you as the gods you are.
I mean, I am curious. This isn't judging. Are you prophets or are you paris? Again, Not judging, just curiosity.
The future.
Ah, you're the cryptic ones. So, is there anything you would like in return or in place of us regaining our Romulan friend? Oh, Romulan friend. Rylov?
Yes.
Is this Rylov or is this one of our new friends?
Do I look like him or not?
I mean, that's a giant Nanerta and that's a giant Thralic.
GM, can I make a psychological analysis to determine if this is actual Rylov or if it's a facsimile of Rylov?
Insight, medicine, difficulty opposed by Ryloff.
Typically
Okay.
high.
You can have a full min.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, that was to him. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's pretty generous. Okay. Insight, medicine. Focus in psychiatry.
I'll take that.
Also inscrutable and guarded mind.
You have 2 free hits.
Yeah.
Okay. People person. I know how Rylov acts. I know his micro expressions and whatever. This being does not.
I'll take it.
Okay, so that's 1 free hit.
Subtle.
Okay. I don't know if this cuts for me or against me, but I do have the trait deeply spiritual, so this is like a spiritual moment for me in addition to everything else.
They'll give you a free hit because there's certain things you know about how this world works that
Okay.
most people wouldn't know.
Okay. So that's we both get 2 free hits. My comp is 0, right?
Currently.
Well, technically, your comp is 1.
Well, yes.
Excuse me. 1 momentum. 1 momentum. It'd be 5 threat to get to 5, right? 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, rerolling
What am
one
I
of
using
those.
to? I don't
That's a
know
good
what
question.
I'm rolling.
Presence, security.
Do any of these focuses apply?
Yes.
Yes. Plus the other 2. So 10.
Could I assist Aza?
Sure.
They do not trust each other. They do not know each other, though they think they do.
Hey, I know him fully well. He's just a secretive one.
What would you
Please,
want
do you
from
really
me?
know me?
Insight, medicine.
Inside medicine, okay.
And to be blunt, Ancient ones, your reputation in parts of the mortal world is not the best.
In what way do you mean this?
You are Par-wraiths, are you not? The Par-wraiths are distrusted at best by followers of the orbs.
But what is distrust really? Please explain.
I would say they have you there, Counselor.
So that's 10.
Asa frowns and says, I don't understand.
That's 10 to 10. And do you have any other way to reroll, Asa?
Yeah, let me look at my milestones.
Celia can actually assist with this because Celia is perceiving what Aza's doing.
Oh.
I was going to ask, but I thought we were limited to one assist.
You can do 2 assists here. There's enough room for everybody. Quite
Then
literally.
can I assist with presence medicine rather than trying to help Asa understand Rylov's nature? I'm going to help use. I'm going to help Asa with rhetorical exercises to draw out Ryla's opinions and personality.
I'll take that, yeah.
Take 2 threat, and with voice of authority, that's a automatic crit.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Damn.
I learned well playing Chio.
So that's 12 to 10.
Yeah, because I don't think any of my other traits actually ever came into effect for that.
No.
Like paranoid.
You recognize the gleam of the eye, the tenor of the voice. It is incredibly difficult because the person they're mimicking is naturally this deceptive, and they're very skilled at it to begin with. But there's being deceptive and there's being Ryloff deceptive. And you know Ryloff is secretive, but not obstructionist to a fellow officer. Especially so, doubly so for a senior officer. He may make fun of you and question your orders, but at the end of the day, there are certain things he won't gainsay you because you outrank him, and that's a very Starfleet, a very Star Navy virtue that Ryloff himself wouldn't break. So this one's perfectly fine with doing so.
So I don't think it's him, or does not seem to be acting like him.
Not the one you're looking for, at any rate.
She is going to try to whisper in the captain's ear. I don't think it's him.
Well, I
It
appreciate.
thinks it thinks.
I appreciate the deception you tried to pull.
Doesn't even know what thinking is.
Is it deception?
Well, you're not the one we're looking for, and you've just tried to pass yourself off as them, so yeah, a little bit.
All I
You
said was
wanted,
I was
we
right.
provided.
Yeah. We wish for the one that was taken via the wormhole to, I believe, the Galactic Core in the Iconian Vault, please.
The
Are you
one
sure
from
that's a good
our
idea?
reality.
Am I sure?
You understand what you're asking for.
It knows of multiple realities, but yet does not understand the implications. It is limited.
We understand that we are asking for our friend because we love him and we miss him dearly and we want him back.
That's a strong word.
Asa elbows you.
Love.
Well, like.
Is that just a statement?
Concepts.
He is our comrade in arms, our brother. He has fought with us multiple times, saved our lives incountable
What
times.
has he fought against?
Enemies of our kind.
Your kind.
Do you think he's not doing that now?
Do you think he wants to come back with you?
Considering he was manipulated and taken against his will, probably. But
Is that what you believe?
So
Why
I
would
will
you think
also remind Asa, it also doesn't matter what Thralic wants. He has an oath that he's sworn.
Throw
yeah,
it.
I mean,
and
Rylov.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry, Ron. I have never been able to get the two of you straight. I will try, but
I don't know how. She's
One's
blue.
blue, one has green blood.
The rather my God, if you ever said that to the two of them, it's like we have to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And Dorian, Romulan, same difference, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then-
before
and
they killed
then-
each other, they'd have to kill you.
and then yes, she will say he swore an oath to serve Starfleet, and unless he has recanted his oath, he belongs with us.
How would
There
one
are
recant
oaths and
this
there are
oath?
oaths. And then there are oaths.
As is the same with duties.
And
there-
responsibilities.
Isn't there a price to be paid? This seems like an unfair exchange.
Right,
Yes,
what,
what
It
price
cannot
do you
afford
pay?
it.
what are you asking
Well-
for?
What do you want in return?
What are you offering?
What do you have?
After all, we will already have it.
What are you made of?
Oh, on that particular thing, people are starting to take stress, so that's not good. Thankfully, your little armbands are giving you resistance because they have the advantage. Because they're trying to make you not leave. Normally, people would lose their damn minds, but I mean, you might anyway. But you know,
Back on the ship, alarms going off, people running around with their hands thrown up in the air screaming.
What information? What secrets?
It would be an interesting thing if we removed the corruption of the orb, allowed you to be in your natural state.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, -2 due to the devices. 11 stress to the two of you. Aiza and Celia can split it because your mind melded.
Okay, so that's okay. Activating my medal, decoration of gallantry, which halves it to 6, and then we're going to split it, so 3 and 3.
all right.
I'm just gonna half and avoid with medals, so haha.
Okay.
He's just going to say, well, what do you want in return? Do you want information? Do you want worship? Do you want a tribute in his stead? We have many things to offer you.
We will have already had all of these things.
List
Then
them
what do you
all.
need him for? If he is so insignificant and so, if the mortal world truly offers you nothing, then why take him?
Why not surrender a trait you hold dear or a value you would never want to let go? That we don't have as yet.
Right now, we have him. If we give him to you, we do not.
All that he holds? Or is it all that I hold? Might be getting hard to tell.
These
So many
beings can
Rylovs, so little time.
these beings can interact with near infinite realm like realities, right?
In theory.
Well, then Celea will suggest to Azza that whatever they're asking for, they do already have. There already exists an Azza, which is the depth of depravity that has given up on everything, and they could
Mhm.
have that person if they wanted, and they don't. Or they wouldn't be asking for this Asa to do it.
You say you have everything, and yet you ask things of us. So clearly, there's a contradiction here. You either do or you do not.
I mean, we could always offer them to them, and we can deal with them. Or we could deal with you. It is of no consequence to us, but it is of great consequence to you.
Asa.
Yes, Captain?
Also, you can tell your little Vulcan friend we can completely see and hear them. They're not as clever as they think they are.
Well, that is what Vulcans like to think of themselves.
Do you
Yeah.
think...
Real Rylov would never say something like that.
Are you so certain?
Asa.
He would keep that thought to himself. He might believe it, but he wouldn't say it.
Asa, do you think the religious angle is going to work anymore?
I don't know, Captain. We could return the ship to Bejor, hand them off to the Vedics, throw them into the wormhole for the prophets to sort out. I don't know you guys would want that happening to you.
Do you really think that's what we are? Do you think that's what's
How do
happening
you know
here?
that's not what we want?
Do you understand? Do you truly understand?
You really do need to understand this.
I think that
Well,
was the GM there.
well, I can't speak to what people are willing to sacrifice to all of you, or what actions or inactions you would like to see or not like to see. I get it, you're much smarter than the rest of us. I'm not even going to dispute that. I'm not even the smartest person in my own realm.
That's true.
But
It shows some wisdom.
maybe a little bit. And I don't wish to, like, toot my own horn. I don't believe myself too arrogant. But I can't speak for other realities of me. But if you're so omnipotent as you are, you must have figured out the things that I've done, correct?
We've met.
It does not require omnipotence when you yourself summon yourselves from so many different places so often.
True. And it's probably a common theme then that I'm not one to bluff or make idle threats, or threats in general, correct?
This one purports to know itself.
Amusing.
Just like his mother. We see all that happened with her.
Oh,
It's a repeating theme, by the way, in case you're curious.
oh, don't worry. I came to terms with that a long time ago. I've also come to terms that I've taken countless lives, come against beings of your caliber in the past, of other types, of different realities, time travels outside the galaxy, back within the galaxy.
It thinks itself impressive.
No, I'm not impressive. But at this stage, all you're interested in is playing a game. Which is fine. I understand you have to keep yourself entertained in some way. But
Don't we
right
all?
now, I would very much appreciate it if you returned our officer. And then I'll maybe consider what you want.
All things have a price. All things have an exchange.
They do. But I'll pay my price after I've received my officer.
Will you pay that price no matter what it is?
Oh, there's a lot of
Look at
things
the
I can
price
offer.
Bejor paid before the emissary was to arrive.
We will do anything to get our friends back.
Or you
In Az's mind, point of order, please do not offer anything. You, a commander in Starfleet, do not have authority to offer.
Asa does not have the authority to do that. However, she is still going to make that claim, regardless of what
I
happens.
think. Well, no. What I'm thinking is they don't care that Asa does not have the authority to offer it. If you offer it, they will take it from you. Like you could say, right, y'all can have Earth. Of course, Asa doesn't have the authority to sell Earth, but that's not going to stop them from coming to collect, right?
Well, that's a future problem.
What I'm asking you one Slay is asking you not to make.
I
And
have
what
2
will
offers
you
for you.
sacrifice? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I have 2 offers. Don't worry, you'll be able to clarify them in a moment. They might need it. There's 2 offers here. 1, you go with the easy solution, and these 3 will be more than glad to help you. They'll help you in their way, but they will take their payment as is due and pay you what is appropriate. Or you leave here and you wait, and the problem will eventually solve itself. I caution you. They would rather you did this. I'm trying to be nice. If you do that, you will pay a price, and it will take no action on our part to take it. It will be one you chose. So either pay now, something you know, or you will pay later, and you won't know, and I doubt you will like how you paid.
I'm just
Counselor?
going to turn to the captain and say, better the devil you know.
Counselor, if you can hear this, I think it's time for you and the commander to leave this conversation.
As you wish, Captain.
What will you sacrifice for this love of yours, Asa Mayra? I'm probably butchering that name, but
That's close enough. She knows what you're saying.
I
she is
asked Asa not to leave. I can't force Asa to stay here, I don't think. And I wouldn't.
No,
really
she can't.
want
She
to
can't leave
force.
without someone touching the button. You're the only reason people can touch the button out there. They don't know that something.
Oh,
all the medical people are seeing is that these 2
then
had a stressor, and then you didn't say.
I don't
anything.
want Asa to leave because I want the council to know what the cost was. If it's a personal cost, right, then it's a personal cost, and that's not of the council's concern. You can sacrifice yourself all day, but I want the council to know if anything of the Federation was sacrificed. So I do not want to leave. Although, if Asa tells me she wants to leave, I get put into a moral conundrum I don't have the answer for without thinking about it.
Asa is going to turn to the thing and say, take of me whatever you want, for I can give that. I cannot promise you anything more.
Then what do you offer? What trait do you hold dear? What value do you not want to lose? That's what they need.
What makes you, you?
You want a part of myself? Well, she kind of gulps and says, I've been a devoted follower of the worship of the prophets for all near 60 years of my life. You can have that religiosity if you so choose.
Is the offer made?
Asa is going to look to Pent, and if he, depending on what he says, yes.
I mean, I've already ordered you to leave, so if you do this, you've disobeyed. I'm not going to force you, but I've given you the order to leave.
It's true. Go ahead.
If Asa seems like she's about to commit to this, I want to spend momentum to try and pull the memories Asa has of being deeply spiritual so that I remember what Asa felt like. Even if she loses it, I remember her being religious.
You know, one of us has a really good idea. I think this will be more fair in exchange, given what's being asked, given how important this mission is, and the fact that without him, you're basically doomed to fail. Both
And
here
ever so
and
much
then.
more amusing.
Well, choose one, and they will be with you for the rest of your days. Consider it a nature tour, a safari of lesser existence.
A
All
wonderful
of your days, you have
field
wanted to be
trip.
closer to your gods. Here is your chance.
Are you speaking to me? Because I don't understand. What am I choosing between?
An entity that will be
One
with
of
you.
three.
One of us. A friend.
Oh, you get your own personal paw wraith.
Oh my God.
I mean, yes.
Exactly.
I'm
I
glad you've
wouldn't
learned
trust
the
my
right
nose that
kind
this
of
was a
devotion.
weirdly common theme amongst my characters, because this also happened in this Thursday game. She looks to the three of you and says, well, if one of you must stick around and torture me, I guess I have to go with the one I find the most personable. And she'll point at Thralic.
Oh, I'm
Best
sure you won't
dig
regret
ever.
it.
Is the offer made, Asa of Bajor?
She looks to her captain and says, I'm sorry, but it is my duty as a healer to do whatever is in my power to heal those in danger. And she says, yes, it is.
The scene ends. Lose one momentum.
Is Saleya able to do what she has to do?
You get shunted out.
Okay.
Oh, Asa. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Celia. I remember now.
Is it another role? Because
Control plus.
I get this power just from having succeeded before. Unless, obviously, as the GM, you can make it a role. I was just saying from the talent itself.
You're basically taking in a portion of her katra into yourself to preserve it.
Which is, it does say, like, you can spend a momentum to do deeper telepathic exchanges. So I guess if it's your...
Ooh, you might be right, yeah.
I can
Because the
copy
link's
and
already
paste the text.
happened. I will charge you, 2 momentum. You had 2 momentum before the change?
We did, yes.
Yeah, you can snatch those. You can do that. I'll just charge you more than normal because you're taking more than just a snippet of her. You're taking like a whole trait she has.
So
Celia has the Aza's deeply spiritual or something like that as inventory or something like that. Asa, you no longer have deeply spiritual. You now have forever questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And you might want to capitalize forever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and the trait was called deeply spiritual.
Just
I
appears into being.
I kind of hoped that getting this meant I'd be able to give it back to you, but I'm guessing that may not be possible. From the way
Ask
you were
McCoy how
told.
possible it is.
Huh?
Ask McCoy how possible it is.
Didn't Spock get back all of his memories though?
After a while.
So
Yeah.
Ryloff has appeared.
I mean, are we both back?
Oh, yeah, you're all back.
Ninurta will scan the Rylov to make sure his quantum signature matches the one in our records for the right Rylov.
Scan the Rylov. Assess the Rylov.
Assess the
Right,
Rylov.
love.
Engineer the Rylov.
Reason plus science difficulty of 2. Or medicine, I suppose, but science or medicine will work here.
Science is going to be better for me. Yeah. Take a threat for a 3rd die just to give me a shot at this. Hey! Got 1.
That is, in fact, the quantum signature that matches the Achilles.
Quantum
Not
signature.
not your universe, because the entirety of the Achilles minus Ven
Right.
is of a different one, but he matches the ship.
Right. This is your Lieutenant Rylov from wherever you people came from. Also, Captain, I think something has happened to your crystal.
What do you mean?
Or was that just... Oh,
Different
sorry.
room.
I was
Yeah, different
confused by
room.
the map. My fault.
Different room, same layout.
Yeah, Asa is going to approach him. Rylov, is that you?
Like the half step, like wary back, like yes.
What do you remember?
A lot.
Very helpful.
One computer. What is the start date?
Start date is 60186 point. Oh no, it's further than that. Sorry, you screwed up.
Computer's like, oh wait.
Ooh. Oh, silly phone, stop. Phone calculator, help me please. It's not how you spell calculator.
Is it a normal Achilles experience to go from having 2 traits to 5 traits in 1.5 episodes?
Don't worry
No,
about it.
congratulations, that's a record.
How many days have passed? You had 2 cracks of the can before you figured this out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so 60192.
Which is, I'm guessing, significantly not, or insignificantly? I don't know what big of time scale we're talking about here.
Over 3 days.
No, for the other side of this.
Oh, try a week
A week? Okay.
at least. Yeah. Hold on. I can give you a better answer than that because I can measure things. Well, okay, anyone can measure things if they have the right tools, but you know what I mean.
The current assignment of the Achilles is...
Right tool for the right job. I have an advantage for measure things.
I was going to say anyone can measure things with the right tool. Does sound like a value.
14,
the
it's been 14-day difference.
Okay.
The mission of the Achilles was initially to investigate the planet of Avlek Prime for Borg
Current
activity. Right now, we are... Oh, God. Pen, you describe it better.
We're currently heading to a Borg tactical cube to try and recover Councillor Myth and Lieutenant Cham. We're approximately 2 days away from reaching destination.
Lieutenant Commander Ninurta.
Yes, Lieutenant?
Have you reached engineering yet?
I have not. Things have been going at quite a pace, I'm afraid.
I'm guessing like he's just basically asking questions to be like, does this match with what he knows at the moment? Like he's asking questions to be like, I'm in the right place, just the wrong when. Is what he's
I
asking.
also have not slept much. Fortunately, my people don't need to sleep much.
Insight plus command or science, difficulty 1.
Also, I'm guessing he knows who this is, even if he's never actually met her on the ship before.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Do you? No, I don't think we ever came into contact.
There's something weird going on, so I'm asking the GM.
No, you don't know who that is.
No, okay, you're new. Who are you?
Well, I know who you are. The expensive Romulan.
What's that?
We made a deal to get him back.
A deal that was perhaps not equal.
And you said what role, GM?
Insight, command, or science, difficulty 1.
Paranoid.
Comp
Part
increase.
of a life for a whole life is, well, we made out easily enough for me.
His deep spirituality been there since childhood, or is it like a later life development?
You did mind meld, so you would probably know that it's been instilled in her since birth.
All right, then I'll bring up some phrase your mother used to say about respecting the prophets and the inviolability of the soul or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Asa tisks you.
Ralph, you were able to discern that you are in I'll type it out. It's hard to tip it without tipping it.
Oh, God damn it. If I wasted all of this for the Ron Rylov. The Ronlov.
Is Sayla just in civilian clothes, or does she have some kind of thing that's like?
I have a
office?
badge that indicates that I have a position within the government of the Federation. Other than that, it's just colorful, flowing robes.
Yeah, it was more like if you had a badge of anything. Yeah, okay.
I thought Asa kept her face. She just gained a demon rider.
No, she got both.
Oh, both.
Why is the counselor aboard?
I've been on the ship for years. Please don't tell me you're from a ship, or for months. Please don't tell me you're from a reality where I'm not here.
Is Asa saying that?
I love now that we've established that in the Bajoran language, both counselors are still similar.
Is Asa saying that?
Asa is making a joke.
To a paranoid Romulan, he's reaching for his phaser.
I put my hand out and say, Lieutenant, I think that's very unnecessary and a gross violation of Starfleet ethics and rules.
Is it?
Okay.
Nothing.
Lieutenant, phaser away, go for debrief. Commander Asa, you're confined to quarters until I figured out what I'm going to do.
That is not a wise choice. I need to reach internal security.
You're going through a debrief.
If I do
What
that,
is
someone
happening?
will die right now, and you will be responsible. And if they die, others will follow swiftly.
He's the captain. Starfleet and the Federation have made him responsible.
Well, as no one's willing to explain anything, debrief.
It is hard to explain.
Try.
Temporal Prime Directive. Try that. That's the wording. Now let me go to internal security.
We don't even know if you're the right love or not. We're not letting you go anywhere.
How often?
Signature
quick question.
Captain Pint, how often do your lieutenants order you around on temporal orders?
Not at all.
then I think you should not allow it in this case.
Hey, GM, am I observing this?
I imagine Ven or the medical staff are looping you in as time's going on. Like you're not have a live feed, but someone's reporting what's going on.
Vin is furiously typing in the corner.
The stenographer.
Yeah, GM, could you take a threat here for ESP?
I could.
Cool. Should I let Rylov go do the thing he wants to do?
ESP is so helpful sometimes.
Oh, it's so helpful, yeah.
Did you get an answer that's not an answer?
Yes.
It is an answer.
That's
is
all
an
of
answer.
Corbinian's answers.
It's not a helpful answer.
The various junior officers in the room kind of watch you all staring each other down a bit because this is an uncomfortable position they're in right now. Especially since none of them are security.
This is pitching exactly like a couple of his values right against each other. So,
Sent you a message back, Corbinian.
Roger. One moment. Boop. Another threat.
Yep. Okay. And probably one more there.
Clarify. I'm not sure I can even charge you for that without being it's overly vague.
Uh-huh. Well, so I'm not asking, is this a bad idea? But I'm kind of asking...
I think I know what you're saying. I'd hand the threat. I'd hold on to the threat. I wouldn't take the question.
Okay.
ESP wouldn't really be able to answer that without being so vague as to be like I try to answer these and actually give you a hint, but
Yeah.
if I say something regarding that, I'm really gonna be on the edge of heads and tails. Like it will be useless to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I might just not be any help here.
You know what, Lieutenant? I'll let you go to internal security. Do what you need to do, and as soon as it's over, you go into the brig.
if you insist, Captain. But he's just leaving. He's not even like. He's saying that while turning.
This is pen to internal security.
Aye, sir.
Lieutenant Rylov is coming to the bridge. Make sure
He's
he
going to the
gets
air
there.
security office.
Or locate Lieutenant Rylov once he's finished what he's doing with internal security. Bring him.
Aye, sir.
Lucas comes. Commander Aza.
Yep, I know where I'm going. And begin to walk out of the room.
Nadur's is just kind of looking around. He says, "What is going on?"
I'd say It's confusing, but it's the will of the prophets.
Asa
Ninurta,
like awkward, like huffs, and then like looks awkward, and then leaves.
Ninurta throws up all three of his arms and says, "I'm going to go find something to fix."
We cut to a corridor somewhere. I believe Ryloff was heading to his office in security.
He just needed the nearest security center, which has the capability to access internal sweeps. So
Oh,
that
you
just
can-
happened to be like a little checkpoint right outside. He'd go there. It's like wherever he can do
Yeah.
that from.
Yeah, you can do that from like one of these console corridor consoles to do a basic check of stuff.
Lovely. Checking. You know what I'm checking for.
I don't think I do.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Yep, you're right. Reason security difficulty of 2, assisted by sensor security.
I don't. Paranoid.
Diff increase.
Yeah. Tactical systems.
No, unfortunately.
No. Investigative techniques.
Yes. Tactical systems are for shooting things outside the ship. Internal security is for things inside the ship.
Technically is an internal tactical system.
Well, buttons. But no, that's how I differentiate it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
So diff 3 now?
Yep.
I'll give you 3 threat.
Certainly.
Sorry, was that diff 2 or 3?
3.
There are none aboard. Because I don't think you guys took a sample from the planet or anything either.
No. That's why
No.
there shouldn't be any board.
Yep, there's none. Oh, ship assists, by the way. Sensors security.
Okay.
Okay, question for if there's any section of the ship that just had a dark sensor reading that shouldn't have a dark. Like, he got nothing from it.
For momentum, I'll answer that.
Yep.
No. You got the full report. Because Rylev also has been briefed about the crystal room, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in there, so he
Yeah.
knows it exists, even if he wasn't.
There's a brief moment of verify who you like. The computer wants you to verify again that it's you to make sure that it's you looking at this reading, and it's like, yes, it is me. There's no one else in the room that shouldn't see this, and it's like, bing, nope. And then you get the reading of no nanites in there.
I mean,
That's the only room that would be ever dark at all to most security if they aren't directly assigned to that room. But you're different because you're COS, so.
U.S. that was also missing for like 4 days, but yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Unlisted personnel.
For momentum.
Yep.
Lieutenant Brawls Cham.
Okay. Location.
I'll hand it back to you. Computer's last known contact with person was on the away mission as of stardate
some time ago.
60186. Oh, wait, no, it's further back than that. Like 60141.2. Because the ship no longer had him on ship, so the ship goes, yep, he's not on. All it can tell you is he's not on board. I won't charge you for that because the computer can't tell you more than that. It doesn't know where he is after that.
Maybe life signs close to his previous, if you're looking for him.
Or Insight Security Difficulty 1, and Rylov might remember. Rylov?
Apologize first, but I think my internet, well, actually, the entire house just dropped power for like 3 seconds.
Oh.
So yes, that's all restarting.
Yeah, the last known was when he was on the away mission. That's when it last saw him, and after that, the ship doesn't know where to look because he never came back to the ship.
Then how is it picking him up as an unregistered person aboard the ship?
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were asking if there was anyone missing on the ship, like if there's an additional person missing. That's my
No,
mistake.
unregistered isn't like anyone that's on the ship that isn't upon the last check he did, or the last ship records list, or if there's like an extra life form aboard where there shouldn't be.
To Ryla's recollection, there is one person who stands out. To the ship's recollection, this person's been logged as a passenger. Celia, a Vulcan from Paver.
All right. Weird. I believe on his sheet he has it listed as Captain. It's Venry.
Oh, you're talking about the time guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a favor with him, and should probably send him a note because this is there's some fuck here. And it's not an admiral because the only other temporal person he knows is Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Plus, this Venery guy owes him like 3 favors for setting him up.
Yeah.
And then sitting up to Laura, and I think trying to get them both killed to cover temporal stuff. So yeah, he owes them.
What do you want him to do? What would you like him to do, rather?
Oh, we need to make him aware of the fact that this has occurred, because there's a shift.
Oh. You can spend that favor. Something's about to happen.
Yep. Which is that's something he kind of has to do.
I'll have to fix something. Pend, I believe you would head up to the bridge at some point during all this kerfuffle.
Yeah. Or the bridge to get Frelic for a conversation, but I'd be on the bridge at least briefly.
And as Pend, you start to walk over, and you're about to say something to Thralic, and Rymek then calls out, sir, we have new contact. It's matching our speed and velocity. It's right beside us.
On screen?
You see a Centaur-class vessel.
Set up.
All right, pull up.
And then you see a red light flash on the captain's chair. And then you see CO eyes only repeated over and over and over. As you're being sent a direct message, Captain Pend.
I'll head to Meridian.
I will stand up from the command chair and get out of it.
No, I'll sit in it then and I'll read the message.
You are sent the message that's in fleet action, and you are told that the Victoria is your ride. You need to come with them immediately.
Oh, that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I also need to bring? Oh no, I don't need to bring that person because they're playing someone else. I'll send a query back. Ship's current mission still required to go?
It is vital they go. They must succeed. No matter the cost.
I'll put down on way to transporters. Commander, with me, important conversation before I have to leave the ship.
Yes, sir. Lieutenant Shreer, you have the con.
A lot of people give each other looks. This never a great sign to see COI's only messages being beamed to the captain, and then he immediately leaves.
Rylov's back.
Observed.
When security catches up with him, he's been sent to the brig. Deal with him.
Why has he been brigged, sir?
Insubordination.
Understood.
And Commander Aza, I've sent her to her quarters. Essentially the same thing, but I'll let her explain to herself when you speak to her.
Yes, sir. Reliable narrator?
I would, if you wish to get another opinion on that, speak to the council person. They may also give an insight on it.
Understood. I'll consult with Soleo.
It may be a case of hers may be too harsh, but I want you to assess before anything else. But she did at least disobey a direct order.
2 cases of insubordination. Sir.
I can't tell you what's happening, but apparently the Victoria is taking me somewhere for something important. But our current mission...
Do you know if you'll be back in time for the execution of our current Priority 1 mission?
If I could tell you, I would. I honestly don't know. But this mission needs to continue.
Understood. I'll proceed under the assumption you won't be returning in time for the extraction mission.
I hate the fact that I'm leaving at this point.
Can't say I'm a fan either, Captain.
But, whatever happens, whatever decision you make going forward, I'll back it.
I appreciate the confidence, sir.
Now, let me go see what I've been summoned for that's so goddamn important. Commander, you have the ship.
Aye, Captain. And good luck.
You too.
Captain, the moment Captain Pend is beamed over, the Victoria vanishes off of sensors.
And I'm heading directly back up to the bridge, because I have to marshal this ship.
Whoops, wrong one. This one. That will be the end of the episode.